Morning, Mike.
Good afternoon po, Doc.
Hey, you're still in the Philippines?
Yes, Doc. Yes, Doc. Yes, po.
Trying to say make host. Okay.
Okay, I will
Do you mind
I will
putting a recording, please, Mike? I wonder if I should record it that way it will be here, but
send it again to you. But if in the cloud, you can download it directly because you have the access on the cloud that you are using on your account in the Zoom.
okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Anyway, I still want the background you have, Mike. Did you give everybody one of those and I didn't get it? Or did you post it?
I shared that this doc on in the JC in our chat.
I think
group.
so, long time ago, huh?
Yeah.
I just did not save it.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I'm so the reason why I cannot I cannot edit this and I'm not little bit what do you call active in the group chat or in the Facebook group is because I'm having my my vacation, and also I have a lot of things to finish here, Doc. Anyways, when I go back, I will fix everything, and also the recording of our the videos that I'm going to crop.
Well, and you need to enjoy your family, Mike. You do not need to worry about work. I saw your
Yes,
picture with your family. It looks like the beautiful family.
yeah, thank you, Doc. Thank
There's
you, Doc.
Fernando. That's how you look like. Welcome. Where's
Hello,
Robbie?
Doc.
And
Good
Giselle? I don't have
evening.
pictures. Good evening.
Yeah,
I
nice
look like a
meeting you
wet puppy.
again.
Huh?
It's been so long. I haven't talked to you, Doc.
Okay, yeah, it's nice to see you again. Now, Giselle Ian is oh, Robbie, there's Robbie. Giselle, I need to turn the camera. So Robbie Nakpil. Okay, that's how have you attended before, Robbie?
Yes, Doc. I attended the meeting last Saturday.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You look familiar now. Yeah. There's Giselle and Luisa. Sambo is new. Luisa, are you new or were you here before? You look familiar too. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, you're muted.
You're muted, sweetheart. I cannot hear you. Luisa, you might turn on your mic. Your yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. I'm just new here. I just joined the Zoom. I will just join tonight.
Yeah. Good evening. Yes. Thank you for joining.
Thank you po.
And there's
I think Doc, we have a lot of newcomers.
Good. I'm glad to see that. Farby
Yes,
Lacasa
yes, Doc.
and Fihilin Macapobre. Oh, Fihilin looks familiar to me. The last name. Aubrey Jordan. Who else?
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Hi, are you putting this mic where whoever talks is the big one?
Yes, Doc. Yes.
Yes. Okay. It doesn't show it to us, but that's good. When you see it in the recording, it is that. Okay.
Yes, Doc, I can see it.
You all were earlier because you said, "Oh, we're only online," and I was still trying to hook up.
Anyways, later, Doc, once we are done with the meeting.
Okay. You know, it's early here. It's a Saturday. It's a Saturday here. Normally, people here would sleep in till 10, 11 o'clock, and here I am waking up at 7. That's okay. I'm not complaining. It's a good thing for me to start early, I guess, on a weekend. But my husband said, "Well, you do 3 hours? That's pretty long." And I said, "Well, we'll try to see if we can stay at 2." So Mike, try to see if we need to stay at 2 hours, not 3. Okay, I think we just keep going and going. So if you give me in the classroom, by the way, it's always important to give a time alert. So if you tell students that this activity we're going to do this for 10 minutes. So you set your alarm. Sometimes it could be your phone. You set it. And then when it's already halfway, you need to tell them, okay, you should be halfway there now. You know, so if they have a half a page to do, then you need to say, you should be a fourth of a page now. 10 sentences, like you should be in 5 sentences, in order to give them kind of more of a progress, report or progress check from you. And then last 2 minutes, I usually say, okay, 2 more minutes. And so anyway, yeah. And sometimes when
Yes,
you
Doc, just to share to you last time, if you still remember, one of my strategy in teaching is, especially in the groupings in my subject, I have the chairman. You remember that? I didn't mention that I have a timekeeper.
yes,
The timekeeper, for example, I will ask before the class, okay, Mr. Timekeeper or Miss Timekeeper, 5 minutes for to have the review. And then I will also inform, okay, Mr. Timekeeper or Miss Timekeeper, 5 minutes or 10 minutes for the group 1 to report, like that.
very good. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And giving
And he is
roles,
also, or he or she will also inform me, for example, sir, 5 minutes before the time. Like
yeah, good job. Is that like one person per the classroom, or is it like one person per group that they would like assign themselves? Do you assign it?
per classroom, though.
Okay, that's always a
Yeah,
good
including
thing.
the subject. Yeah, including the subject chairman,
Okay,
the housekeeper,
very good.
and the timekeeper and my monitor. My monitor is the one who is checking the attendance,
Okay,
and the
very good.
housekeeper is the one who is responsible for the cleanliness of the classroom.
Good job.
And the one that I've mentioned to you, the subject chairman, he is responsible for the management, and I'm including him or her in the planning of my class.
Well, good in assigning roles to students is actually one of the standards we look at. Like, do you assign roles to your students? Because it teaches them responsibility. You want your students to be independent. You don't want your students to be like, okay, teacher, what's the next? Okay, teacher, what's next? I mean, you need to have a classroom that your goal is to pretty much being run by students. When we are looking at standards here, when I was a administrator, I always looked at what leadership roles do students hold in that classroom, and then is the teacher calling all the shots and not even giving responsibilities for the students? That's not a good thing. Okay, especially even as young as elementary, you can already have them get jobs, and I see a lot of classrooms where they actually have this chart. And they have a skinny chart, for example, and they have all the roles in there, the student's name, and then they would have the clothespin with the names of the students there. For example, you have 10 rows, and then they have the names of students in a clothespin, and they would just pin it next to the row. And then they move it, and you even have students moving it down so that the next person will go the next row, and so on. And also in cooperative learning groups, make sure the first thing they do is like pick a leader. Okay, and then a reporter, somebody to report whatever they find, and then of course a timekeeper. And usually I have like a materials manager. Okay, that was our example tip already. But first, before thank you, Mike, for helping me with that. Let's hear from you real quick, because we have a lot of new ones. So Mike, you start with introducing yourself really quickly, like where you are, what you teach, how many years of experience. That way everybody will kind of know the audience here.
Okay, Doc. Good evening. I'm Michael Roca. I'm a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Industrial Education, major in Industrial Arts, and done with my master's degree in Master in Educational Management, and currently taking another Master of Arts in Special Education. I am in my 16 years of teaching. Presently, I'm in my vacation, but I'm working in Qatar, and hopefully soon, cross finger, I will be in Arkansas.
He just got hired. He got hired.
With my other 3 cohort teachers.
Yes.
And we are now on the H1B processing, and
Yeah.
hopefully soon.
Yes. And
to
Mike,
all the new,
yeah,
yes, Doc.
go ahead.
And to all the newcomers here, keep on attending our Zoom meeting. Again, like what I mentioned last time, this is not just about how we're going to get our job in the US, but also a lot of things about our teaching, the things that we can use in teaching are being shared here. And if you are not member of our group chat and also Facebook group, I will post here in the chat group or in the chat box the link wherein you can join our chat group and then the Facebook group.
Okay. Well, thank you. I am modeling what I was teaching. Okay. I'm teaching responsibility here. Mike is got that role. And Dr. Elvin, can I give you the timekeeper role? We're trying to keep within 2 hours. My husband said that should be my goal. I've been doing more than that. And I know it's pretty late in the Philippines. So I hate to do that to you, especially on church night. You know, the next day will be church. But anyhow, that's our goal. That doesn't mean that we're going to reach it. Okay, Mike, Sinando, you're next up in the screen. Do you mind sharing about yourself? Because also tell us, like, why did you get into education? And why do you want to teach in the US? Those two things I would like for you to include. Go.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good night. Good evening. I am Sinando Abudanyo Junior, and I am a public school teacher here in the division of Bukidnon, Mindanao, and I am teaching science for 15 years. And I had my master's degree in science education, and right now I'm working on my dissertation paper, but this time I give more priority of my application working in the US as a teacher. And guys, we are so lucky in this group because we are guided with Dr. Merlina McCullough, and I still remember how she mentored me in my interview in Nebraska way back. I think it's in March, and when I invited her to mentor me a day before my interview, and I remember how she helped me tailoring those 5 C's of the five core propositions and in education, which helped me to pass the interview.
Really?
And
That's good.
yeah, and then it makes me more confident in answering those questions, and it gives me more time to think while tailoring those core propositions in education. And I hope Dr. Merlina will also share that to one, so that we would have more confidence in having our principal interview. And right now, I'm still here in the Philippines. Do I pass the interview? Because God, I believe God has still planned for me to stay in the Philippines. And
What
the
happened?
lessons that
I forgot what happened.
yeah, there's a problem on the board on deciding to hire the 3 of us, the Filipino
Oh.
teachers in Nebraska, because they cannot afford their fiscal responsibility, because they don't know how actually to hire international teachers, and so the board decided to decline our
Oh,
visa.
I'm so sorry.
And yeah, and then I get frustrated, but I know and I believe that someday somehow there's gonna be a chance for me to work
It
in the
wasn't meant
US.
to. Mhm.
Yeah, and I was also hired in 2020 in Peoria, Illinois, but remember 2020 all the J1 visas were canceled by our government because of the high COVID cases in the US. And in
Right.
2021, still the Peoria, the school that I applied, invited me to go with their teams again to rehire me, but I decided to decline the offer because I'm still working on my doctoral degree. And so 3 times I I hired for 3 times, and I'm
You got
still
hired. Yeah.
here.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm still here. And the biggest lesson that I learned from those experiences is I can share more about my experiences to those teachers who are willing to apply, who have the heart to apply in working in the US. And I like this group because we are mentored free. Yeah, and I remember what Dr. Melena told me, that um she shared it free So I give it free also to
Help others.
those teachers who are asking for help, in during the interview, because at the most important the important or the most challenging part in applying in the US is really the principal interview, because there are times wherein you will be asked by 6 principals,
Yeah,
and
a big
and those
school.
6, especially if you will be interviewed in bigger districts, and having interviewed with 6 principals is such
Intimidating.
is a hard, and so intimidating, because their questions are really digging up your classroom experience. It's
Yes.
not more on how you answer the question well, but it's more on how you'd be able to deliver your classroom experience, and they would know if they are lying or not. Yeah, and then
Yeah, because you'll give conflicting information if you do that. Thank you for all the tip. And yes, I agree with you that sometimes God is not, maybe that's not meant for you yet. But you know what that means? That you keep getting interviews. That means that they like what you said on the cover letter, and they must have liked what you said on your resume. And good luck on your doctoral. Are you in dissertation? You say you're in dissertation
yeah,
already?
yeah,
Good job.
yeah.
And I know that's not easy. So balancing everything, that's good. And thank you for what you said about 4 propositions, 4 core propositions. Do you remember what they were? Anybody?
Yeah.
Okay, name one, please.
Name one is the knowledge of the student.
Very good. That's number
Yeah.
1. Knowledge of students is very important for us to know our students. It's as important, if not more important, than knowledge of our content, which is number 2. Anybody remembered? So the two things start with the word knowledge. The knowledge of students and the knowledge of content. What is the third one? It doesn't start with a K this time. Start with an A. Anybody? I'm trying to do this is a recall question, very low level in Bloom's. Anybody? Start with A and then S and then S and then E. Come on, you can do it. Assessments. Okay, assessments. And by the way, I did not wait too long enough. One of the tips that you need to remember is that if you're asking a question, you should never call a student first. Always ask the question. You're supposed to pause before the question, then ask your question, and then you're supposed to pause again before calling a student, because that gives them processing time. These are good for students that have slower rate of learning. So your special ed and all those that need to process it. That's why you might catch some students sometimes that would answer you're already in question number 3 and they were still trying to answer number 2 because it took them that long to process. So always remember that. I struggled with that because I'm into efficiency. Like I want to get things done now, kind of type thing. And we cannot do that. We have to give our students time to process. And so try to make an effort to always remember to do that. And the problem with calling their names first is that the others don't have to be, you already called Sonia, so the others are not gonna be tuning anymore because they're already off the hook. You do not want the kids to be off the hook. You want everybody to process. Okay. And those are things mistakes that I continue to do, even when I do my training for teachers. Sometimes I mess up and I would ask already somebody. And also another thing that I would remember is that do not ask the same people. Like Mike would be like my assistant, right? So he'll be the Hermione in the in the Hermione in the what was that? Harry Potter. It's always like, have the answer. And you don't want to have the Hermione's answer all your questions in the classroom. You want the others to also participate. I would say sometimes, because I don't want to ignore my Hermione's in my classroom, I would say, hey, would you please help me call somebody? So that way I'm still acknowledging that person, the smart person, but I am not really giving that person again an opportunity to answer, because I want to share that responsibility with the classmates. So you can do that sometimes. You can say, oh, you be my assistant. Can you call me? Which classmate do you want me to, to call? And so something like that. All right, so thank you for that. I know the third one, the fourth one is they rhyme. Reflection is number 4, and then collaboration is number 5. So let's review. Somebody was nodding. I'm gonna put Sonia in a spot here. Dr. Sonia, do you mind to tell us all 5? Recall.
Okay. Good evening, Dr. Merlina.
Good evening.
So the 5 core compositions in education. Propositions are knowledge of students, knowledge of content, then we have assessment, reflection, and validation. Collaboration.
Yeah, thank you. This is how you would apply it. For example, the question is, how do you handle unmotivated students in the classroom? These are actually, you don't want to call unmotivated lazy students. They will call them unmotivated. So you're going to start to think about your knowledge of students, okay? So the first thing I would do is to make sure that I know this student. So talk about knowledge of students. I know this student, that because the beginning of the year, I would have had lots of activities where I got to know the student. For example, and you can put an example, okay? Because you're going to think of specific student that you're going to use as an example. For example, my student David, he did this, whatever, he was always there. I knew he had a potential because I've seen some of his work, but then he didn't want to do his homework. Okay, so that was your knowledge of students. So now you're going to put strategies. Your knowledge of content will be your strategies. Because I know that he is into this, and he's a very kinesthetic and visual learner. So I made sure that we did this project or whatever. And then what strategy did you use in order for that person to be, to excel and to be able to they want to do the work, for example, if Robbie is into animals, well, make sure that, he can, for example, in a research, he can do animals and he can choose which animals, because choices are always good in the classroom. He can choose which animal, but maybe on the same, theme that we're doing. If the theme is change or the theme is evolution, anything like that, it's going to show how the animals that he chose would evolve. Okay, so you did the first 2, and then you're going to assess, right? So you're without saying assessment, you just in your head, these are your guides. Okay, they guide you the next thing that you're going to say. Okay, so what I did was, and then you tell them about what you did before, during, and after, because when we assess, it should always be before, during, and after. You don't just assess at the end. You don't say that, oh, I'm assessing at the end, see how they did. No, because before the test, before the whatever you're doing, you could have a KWL. Okay, what they learn, what they want to learn, and what they, in the future, tell me again, knowledge, well, KWL, what you want to know, right? What you know, and what you will want to know in the future, or how you're going to apply it. So anyway, so that's your assessment. So you assess that. And then later on, after I did the activity, I reflected. Did my students, how did they do? And did this particular student do well? How did I know that he did well? Well, I knew because his project looked really good. And it was, it was really, it really addressed the concept that I wanted them to address. And he was able to turn it in on time. And so anyway, so it shows that you have actually motivated the student because you gave the student an opportunity to choose his own topic, for example. And then of course, in order to have done that, of course, I collaborated with his parent. I made sure that we went back and forth. I had communicated with the parent that we have this project. They have all month to do it. And then who are the other people you collaborated? You may have collaborated with the next door teachers, because you asked them to be like the audience, hey, we're doing this project and I'm going to bring my students, a few students in, and I brought this student next door or, across the hallway from me, and he was able to share it with the class, and he was able to answer questions about his animal, and he really liked it and all this. So the last part would be your collaboration and actually other resources that you used. Okay, it doesn't have to be people. It could be books. It could be, websites. It could be anything in collaboration with something. Okay, so that's kind of what we do. If you answer it that way, then you know you covered everything. So make the 5 core proposition as a guide when you answer questions when you interview. Sometimes not all of the 5 might be very very useful. I mean, you can touch on it, but not really in detail. It's okay, as long as you touch on it. Okay, the 5 core propositions are actually coming from National Board, which is the 5 core propositions of National Board, and they are the ones, that's nbpts.org, and that is an organization here in the US that's actually giving National Board certification, and that's why you see on my name, NBCT, that means National Board Certified Teacher. There's only about 2%, maybe 3% now in Arkansas. So for example, if there are I think at one time we only have like 100, and then now we have 2,000 something now students. There's 30,000 teachers in Arkansas, and so I know there's less than 3,000 that has the National Board certification, and it's pretty good because they give you $10,000 a year more. Whatever you pay, if you're making 70,000, then you're gonna get 10 more thousand. Okay, they take the taxes off, but if you teach in a high poverty school, which in the area that I'm helping right now in the Delta, that's all high poverty. That means really poor kids. So you will get 10,000 if you get that. But for the international teachers, you'll have to get your standard license first, and then after that, you have to have at least 3 years. Make sure you have 3 years of experience, and then you can apply for it. You can do it like in 1 year. My sister and I did it, and then we got it the first year. Now they have divided it up. It will take you 3 years to do it, but it's worth it because you're just taking one portfolio at a time. There's 4 things that they need from you. It's like a video of your teaching, you analyze it, and there's some student work there. And then the very last one is like your extracurricular activities. So if you're planning to do National Board, be sure to do a lot of collaboration pieces with other people, and then make sure other teachers, make sure that you have documents to show it. My sister and I did a lot of collaboration. We did a lot of projects together, and we would do seminars and trainings and workshop in different schools. We were asked to come in. We were called the NBCT Sisters. We're still called NBCT Sisters. And so they always we would go in conference in Little Rock, like, oh, you're NBCT Sisters. They would recognize us because we would talk in different places, like in universities and so on. When they have their big conferences, we are a regular. We don't charge for that. We just volunteer to do it. They would usually pay for our expenses, like our food and our travel, but we don't charge for like how much. There are some places that we do charge, but in those conferences, I always volunteer. I don't charge for that. I always just give my time because I think it's very important to have teachers to know some of the things that we are sharing. And my sister is so funny. She is really, I wish she'd join us sometimes, but I need to invite her. But my sister Mylet Trotter, I'm her biggest fan. I think we kind of being fan of each other, but I really think she's our youngest, and she is so funny. She would, I would be the content. Like I would tell you about the 5 core propositions, and she would come in there and tell you some funny things about it. I mean, like really funny. Like one day, one of her example was like, we were so poor in the Philippines that we had to go to Kentucky Fried Chicken and lick the customer's fingers. I mean, that's so crazy. I said, you're so crazy. You're going to have people believing that we are actually that nasty and also that poor. But to her, that's a joke. She said, oh, see, I always get my sister. She always reacts on that. And we would have that like little comedy show going, but then we have the meat. I'm the one that kind of guides the presentation, make sure that the meat is still being accepted by the, being received by the teachers. But anyhow, we had so much fun doing it. And anyway, so I encourage you to collaborate with others. If there are anything at all, any problem that you see, in your school or in the community, be a leader and try to do something about it. Include the students. What can we do about this problem? If we have this problem here, what are the solutions that we can come up with? You don't have to have a club to do it. It could be your classroom and being a leader in your classroom. So in a way, it doesn't have to be here in the US either. You can do it in the Philippines. Does anybody have any project that they're doing in their school that is solving problems? Anybody? Dr. Alvin, you're nodding your head. Did you do anything that you think is solving a problem? in your school or community?
Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
I think I lost my voice,
I'm sorry. Do you want me to?
but it's okay. Good
Huh?
evening, Dr. Merlina.
Good evening.
What we usually do every Friday, we to solve problems of our new teachers is we have this learning action sale every Friday. Allow the the seasoned teachers to mentor um, even our neighbor schools
Very good.
just across the street
Very good.
to mentor every Friday
Wow,
so
that's
that their experiences will also be shared to us. So
ah,
that is a collaboration between two schools, uh, seasoned teachers sharing their ideas to those under the teacher induction program.
very good. Those things like that, Dr. Alvin, make sure that if you have an interview, try to squeeze that in, try to put that in, in the collaboration part. For example, just then share what your collaboration pieces are, because I think those are impressive things. That shows your leadership, that shows you go above and beyond, and that shows that you are a teacher that doesn't just think of the four walls in your classroom. You think beyond, you think global. There are 3 levels of learning, okay? You are of a learner. You are either a level 1, which is all about you. We meet a lot of people that it's all about me, all about I like this, and I try to watch that I don't do that, but sometimes we could do that. And then level 2 is all about my group, the Filipinos, my family, anything about your group or tribe. That is level 2. And we usually go from level 1 and 2, we go back a lot with that. It depends on how self-centered we are. We could do a lot of level 1 more than level 2. And then level 3 is where we want to be a lot. And that is your global thinker. Okay, so you want to be thinking about the world. You want to be thinking about solving things in the society and things above and beyond your family. And that's what we want to, to reach. The goal that we should reach is to be a level 3 thinker. Okay, so a level 1 person will just be talking about people, gossip. Those are level 1 people, folks, I mean. So level 2 would be about, oh, my family did this, my family did that. I do that a lot. But anyway, or my group did this, the teachers that I'm helping do this, that's level 2. So maybe also level 3, because it's already global. We already actually pretty much like international. So that could be a global, depending on what you're doing. But the level 2 people will actually talk about news, events, or whatever. And then your level 3 people will be talking about ideas. What are some great ideas that we can do in order to solve problems? So you want to be going to level 3. I think I've shared this in the past, but when my son Jet was a junior high student, I was an assistant principal, and we were driving. We bought another house 2.5 hours away, so I cannot be going back and forth every day. So I bought a second home, and so every Sunday after church, we would drive to the new second home, and then I would teach, or I would be administrator all week, and then Jet would be in that building. And so on Friday, we would drive back home, right? And so I would be sharing with Jet, I could share things with Jet that I cannot, how administrators cannot share things that are, like the cases that you're working on, bullying, whatever. I cannot share those things, but I share like things like, oh, Jet, we did this in the PLC, in the professional learning community with teachers. I share this, or he would say, Mom, did you share this graphic organizer? And he would describe it. And I said, yes, I did. Why? He said, because 5 of my 6 teachers used it. And I'm, it's so nice to be able to hear that. But at the same time, one day he said, Mom, I don't want to hurt your feelings, Mom. I love you, but you have been doing level 1 a lot. Teaching a lot about I. And I said, oh, thank you, Jet, for noticing. And thank you for learning about levels 1, 2, and 3, because I was sharing with him about me teaching the teachers that, and he remembered it. And he said he now thinks about, when he listens to people, he thinks about, okay, what level of thinking is this? And so that's kind of cool that he was, oh my goodness, my 9th grader is talking like a teacher now, that's what I was thinking. But you do that in real life as well. You're gonna see people whenever I say people, I always say you correct yourself and say folks, because in America, the people is now being used like negatively, like, oh, you people, like discrimination type thing. So you see the word folks, I try to always try to replace it with folks, but I'm very used to saying people. So anyway, a lesson to that is your students are gonna be, students or your kids are gonna be not really doing what you are saying, but it's doing what you're doing. They're gonna watch you and emulate what you say or what you do. You didn't realize how much impact you're making. And that's kind of what the realization I had as a mother and as an administrator, that, yeah, I need to watch what I say to Jet, because he is soaking it in. He's like sponging, so really, really absorbing everything I'm saying or doing what I'm doing, and all this. So that's something, a lesson to learn, I think, on the levels. So far we got two big ideas. We have the 5 corporate positions, and that's one chunk. Remember, on brain research, our students can only handle 3 to 5, your high school kids, but then elementary, it might be, 2 to 3 chunk of information. So one chunk that we handle so far is the 5 corporate position. That's one chunk, one category. Second chunk is the level of teaching, second chunk. So far you can handle those in your brain right now. But if I continue to like load you up with lots of chunks, and I don't stop and have you to like ask you a question and process it with you, that's why I was asking you questions. Level 1, 2, and 3. Let me see. Edeni, do you mind, teacher, reminding me, how do you apply the levels 1, 2, and 3 in your life, or in your, with your students or with your friends? How do you see it being applied? How do you think of it?
Level 1, the levels, right, ma'am? Level 1
Yes.
to 1. When I'm discussing and giving examples, I think, during discussion in the class, sometimes I touch examples like about my family, about myself, about my son. Like sometimes, like when I'm teaching clocks, time, like that. And then one of the things I teach there is like, it happens in the morning, it happens in the afternoon, AM or PM. I'm teaching grade 2. So that's one of the topic I teach about time. And then sometimes I give examples like, oh, this is the way I wake up my son in the morning. So I teach about, I talk about my family, my son, or myself, like that. And I think level 3 thinker is when I'm giving projects and I'm giving ideas to students, like how we solve problems in the community.
Very good.
Something like that, like examples to, for my students to think of. Especially projects, or there was one time when I want them to take a photo of themselves, how they help the community, like maybe picking a trash, and then they take a photo of themselves, or helping their mothers. Something like that. So,
you did a very good job of the level 1, 2, and 3. And when you're teaching, you should try to do that. The more of yourselves that you share to your students, the better it is, because they get to know you. It's not just knowledge of students, but their students also getting to know you. The teachers there that are popular, that are really well liked with students, is because they give something of themselves, because they have a saying that says, vulnerability breeds trust. If you are being vulnerable to someone, to your students, then they are trusting you. Okay. But if you're always this aloof, like really distant teacher, you're not going to get closer to your students. I went to as far as like inviting my students to my home. Growing up, my kids had an indoor pool. So it was kind of neat, because I would use it as a reward. We live across the road from their school, and this is a very small community, so we know everyone. And so I told the parents on a first parent-teacher conference in October, and we start in August. I said, well, I have an indoor pool, so we could use it all year long. And so one of the rewards that I will give, your kid, my students, is that they can come to my home with the parents or siblings, their family pretty much. And then you can swim, and we can cook hot dogs or whatever. I ask them to contribute also bring whatever you want to bring. This is what we're going to prepare. Sometimes they just bring, buns or the bread part, and I would provide everything else. But I did, because I had a Girl Scout, I had a Girl Scout, team troop anyway, and they're always swimming every Friday. So I kind of just have them to join, which was really fun because I had 18 girls. That's how, we had a big pool. So the 18 girls were coming already because that's my daughter's team troop. So then the others can just join. And so that was, and maybe that's one of the reasons why I never had any behavior problems, because they wanted to behave because they want to be invited. At the end of the year, all of my kids have been invited. So I got this bonding with my students, not just in the classroom, but also outside. And my family will get to know them. And, the nice thing about it is that we had a lot, this is a really poor town as well, but we have a lot of kids that have never experienced going to swimming. We have a pool in the, we have a town pool, but then their parents cannot afford to pay, it's in the summer. And then, so that might be the only opportunity they have to go in a pool, and then some of them has never, they have never been to a restaurant. So, and some of the rewards I would do is like, okay, because I knew that, because that was my knowledge of students. I knew that 4 of my students that year have never been to a restaurant. So I would make that as a reward. I want to make sure that those 4 kids will get that, but they can go with me, and my kids, Stephanie and Jet growing up, they could join us. Of course, I always invite a parent because I don't want anybody to ever accuse me of doing something, at least one of the parents would be there. And, there were a few kids that really got that, and they still remember that. So at the end of the year, I know that impacted them because we do a reflection at the end of the year. We have this big scrapbook every year that we do, this big giant scrapbook, and every child has like their page. And then they put all these things about the things that they remembered about the school year there. So every year that I've taught, I have this huge, scrapbook, and they always put those things at the end, the pictures that we took while they were swimming, the pictures that we had taken when we went. I took them to the movies, for example. I took them, whatever experiences that they have not had, I try to get them to earn it, but because you have to remember, this is America, in a very small town of 1,500 people only. And this is a place where they know us. They know my husband and I own the cable company and the internet. So they know us really well. My husband's really active, like president of Chamber of Commerce. We are very known in the community. So I guess maybe that comes with respect, but at the same time, you have to be also careful. Like now, I couldn't think I can do that now. There's so many strangers that I do not know. And there's so many things going on that is weird in education that to me, I would have put a line, like I can't do that. This was in the 1990s. I became a teacher in 91. So I would have been doing this in the early 90s. And it was fine. I would do home visits. The student, my goal was always 100% attendance on my parent-teacher conference. If I have 1 or 2 kids that did not have their parents come, I would either call them or I would go visit them. Sometimes it might be because they don't have a car or they don't have money to buy gas. Things like that. But when I get to visit them, then I get to know them better and you get to see how they live. And I got to see what kind of, hospitality they have and the kind of how they treat their kids. Are they nice to the kids or are they not? Because of how they would talk about their kids, you would know if they're really loving or not, because then you see sometimes maybe that's why this child is showing out and want attention because at home they have 6 other siblings. And this child is just kind of lost in the family. That's why he's always trying to get the attention from the whole class. Those kind of understanding I gained from visiting. But I would not recommend you doing that now in this society and so on. I would not, unless you live in a very small community where you know everybody. But now there's so many drug things going on and there's so many, so many crime things that happen that you don't want to be in the middle of that, right? So, but at least at that time, I was able to. And when you answer about Edini, you showed me your knowledge of students, you showed me your knowledge of content, and you were assessing, and you're also reflecting, and then you did the collaboration pieces. You did all 5. So very good. So yeah, so when I'm interviewing somebody, I'm actually looking for those 5 pieces. You may not have said, like this one is you, but I recognized it, that you did all that. Okay, so very good. That's a very good way to answer. So you should be very good at
Yeah.
answering now because of those 5 pieces and then your 3 pieces of level teaching. Okay, let's move on. And Robbie turned off his camera. Robbie, did you want to share about you? I love your background there. That's what in my bucket list, to go to Alaska and see that. What do you call that? Something light?
Neon lights.
The what light?
Neon.
No, the hey, Dad.
Aurora Borealis.
Oh yeah,
Aurora
Borealis.
Borealis.
That's it. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you, Erwin. Yeah, Borealis. That was in Alaska, and it's on my list. My husband and I were thinking about going on a cruise and hopefully, seeing that for ourselves. I watched that movie, that show Alone. Alone, Frozen right now, and they are in where they can see that at night. So I'm always jealous. Anyway, go ahead. I'm being off task, but I was trying to share about myself too. Robbie, tell us about you.
Yes, good evening, fellow teachers in the Philippines, and good morning there in US, because currently I'm in Saudi Arabia right now.
Okay.
And to introduce myself, I am Roberto Nakil, a graduate of Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Mathematics, and I have my master's degree also. I have 20 years of teaching experience, 2 years in the Philippines in the university, and 18 years here in Saudi Arabia. Imagine that. I have 18 years here in Saudi Arabia.
Wow. Cool.
And actually, I taught all the branches of mathematics already. And in my past schools, I have four schools in Saudi Arabia. And at first, I was a mathematics teacher in the senior high school in one of the schools here. And I was teaching grades 7 to 12. And I became also the academic coordinator in that school. And I managed to train teachers and also give them some symposiums, some seminars, and I observe also classrooms. I taught them how to have a classroom management and to teach them the different types and strategies and teachings. And definitely in teaching mathematics, the differentiated learning instruction is one of the most important things, because we need to know the levels of the students, those who are slow learners, those who are fast learners, and of course, those that are in the average. And actually, in that point, we give them, actually for the slow learners, we give them an IIAP, which is the Individual Improvement Action Plan, that is collaborative with the parents and with the principal and the owner of the school, because most especially we deal with the students who are actually very poor in mathematics. We don't say that poor, but they are very, like slow to grasp the knowledge that what we are imparting to them.
Okay.
And also, we were actually a part of the what we call accreditation team in the school, and we observe also some schools in different international schools here. Like if you are familiar with the Cognia now, before it was the Advanced Ed who accredited the international schools here.
Hey,
And-
Robbie, I am one of the Advanced Ed lead evaluators. So I go to the world and I actually lead a team to do that. We're now called
Have
Cognia,
you
by the
been
way.
in Saudi Arabia, Doctor?
Yes, I'm with Cognia. I'm one of their consultants, and I have traveled the world to do this. And I go in the US, so I know exactly what you're talking about. So that made me
Yeah, I
smile.
didn't
was-
have the chance to meet you.
Yeah, it was in 16 days in Saudi Arabia. I did 2 schools, and I did a presentation in the global what is it? The global conference, they call it. Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
cool that you said that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually a training that actually it's a training that you can learn many things.
A lot, yes. I always
A
tell administrators and teachers that to serve on a team of an advanced ed team, they call that Cognia now, on a Cognia team, accreditation team, is one of the best PDs you could ever give your teachers or gain for yourselves, because you are involved in everything. You are observing the classrooms, you are interviewing parents and students and teachers and
All the stakeholders.
administrators, yeah, community members. So you get to learn a lot about the school, and also really about what good teaching is like, because we share after that. I have my members share about the great things that they saw in the teaching, what are some things that could be improved. So we talk about, strategies that I might be able to share as a leader. At the end, I would be the one talking to the superintendent, and the superintendent can invite whoever they want to invite. A lot of times they invite the whole school. In Saudi Arabia, that seems to be the style they have. They have a big auditorium, and then you get to share it in front of their, and then they have this big party, and I was dancing and all that, it was so fun. I mean, they have like the biggest party with lots of food and all that. I'm thinking, you know what? We have not told them that they have made it yet. Because the report is not due till another like 30 days, well, 10 days for me, but 30 days before they find out anything. But they already acted like they already got accredited again, And then I feel bad about like, well, should we leave or should we but then if we left, then it's an insult, because we were pretty much like the I guess the guest of honors. And so I hate to, embarrass, to insult the owners of the schools. Of course, in Saudi Arabia, only Saudis could own schools or could own businesses. So these are really, I guess, really wealthy people, And so anyway, but thank you for sharing about that. That is so cool. And then I love that you shared about your leadership opportunities that you've had. And then to serve on that accreditation is also a very good thing, because you went above and beyond. And then why did you say 4 schools? Are you like did you say you are still a teacher, or are you a principal?
Yeah, actually, right now I am a teacher, because for the past years I want to try all the different curriculum that what we have in Saudi Arabia. I started in a Filipino school here, then I transferred to American curriculum, then I transferred to IG curriculum, and now I went back to an American curriculum. So
Go ahead.
I was teaching before the IGCSE, the checkpoints, the external exams, and the level, and also I was a teacher in SAT, SAT math, and I am an invigilating also some SAT exams here in Saudi Arabia.
Okay, so here's a little constructive. They know, everybody knows it now. I always kind of have a comment. Try to change it to more of a level 2 or level 3 instead of level 1. The way you share it, you might want to say, to help students who are trying to get improved in SAT, SAT. Then I do this. So kind of go with who's benefiting first, instead of I was doing this first. And it's a struggle for me to do that. So I understand. So try to remember in your interviews that I used to do a tally mark of how many times an interviewee would mention students. The more students that you mention, the better. That means it's not about you, it's about the kids. Okay, so just remember that. And also, I have hearing, not you, but I've been hearing when some of you introduce yourself, you say, I am teaching for 15 years now. You need to say, I have been teaching. Say, I have been teaching for 15 years. And when you mention, I've seen this before, when you say US, don't ever say just US, say the US, the Philippines. Okay, it just kind of sounds awkward to us, I guess, here when you hear that, like I want to go US, I want to go to the US. Okay, I am from Philippines. I am from the Philippines. Okay, just something simple like that. It just like it catches you off guard, because I guess I have been in America 35 years, so it's kind of, I kind of hear it like them, I guess now. So so I'm just sharing. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or anything. Okay. or not. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. That is really great. Okay, so Luisa Sambo, are you ready to share, or do you want me to call somebody else?
Yes, ma'am, I'm ready. Go
ahead.
Notice how all those who are in the Philippines. Yes, I am Eloisa R. Sambo. I have been teaching in the Philippines for almost 11 years, purely classroom teaching. And I have handled different levels of learners, from marginalized to average to fast learners. And have been exposed to different classroom strategies that works and have not worked based from my experience. And I'm working on my comprehensive examination now for my master's in educational administration. And actually, ma'am, you were referred by my friend
Who is
who
your
was
friend?
just got there in Arkansas last July, Ma'am Alginia Sumala.
Jing, okay. Yeah, Jing is one of
Yeah.
my favorite folks here.
Yeah. Ma'am Jean. And we were co-teachers before. And during, I think 2019.
Okay.
Yes. And she told me a lot of things in the USA, and of course, me too, I would like to have a taste of American culture.
Okay. What did she share, if you don't mind me? What are the things you could share with us that she shared? I mean, I don't want you to share something that's confidential or anything. Something that you think could benefit this group.
Oh, Mom, at first, she told me that you were so accommodating and very helpful because you were the first person that she met in the US, I guess.
Yes.
And
because I
she
met her
told
in the
me-
airport. Yeah, I met her at the
Yeah.
airport. Yes.
And
Maria.
of course, the culture of the students, like, she was like, have this culture shock, and the behavior of the students
That's
were
normal.
very different, and the learning process and all of those things. But now she's adjusting.
Yeah.
And
She's doing awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
she's doing great.
her last text to me, which was last night, she said, Doc, we finally got our bonus. And this is Mike, $5,000 they got a bonus just for being a teacher this year at that school. And so Mike,
Wow.
when he gets his visa, hopefully there's $5,000 waiting for him and Dina and Johnson and April. They got their $5,000, Mike. Hopefully,
Yes, Doc, thank you.
this school year, you should be
Hopefully.
able to. I'll talk to Ms. Bonita, make sure that they, you are all included, but I figured you are. But yeah, $5,000 just to have, that's a lot of money. That's $250,000 pesos, right? So anyway, just because they're a teacher, that's like a bonus because they had some people doing strikes and protesting because teachers in America, teachers in the US are not paid. I mean, in Arkansas are not paid very well. And we are maybe in the number 49 or 48. We're not the 50th, we're 50 states, but we are in there in the last 5, whatever. And so Missouri is also low. And I think somewhere in Montana or somewhere in, those western states are also low. But the high ones will be California. The high ones would be Hawaii, those are the 2 highest one, but also they have the highest standard of living. Your apartment there, house may be double what Arkansas charges. Here, I think the average when they're living with other people, like with Jing, there's 5 in that 5-bedroom house. And I think their expense with food is maybe around $500, $600 a month. Maybe it's what I'm estimating, because I think the house is about 300, 350. And then every time they go to groceries, they would divide it by how many people. And so I would say whenever you start computing on how much you're going to, take home or send to your family, put about 600 to 700 there as a budget for your expenses for yourself. That's the food, that's the electric, that's the water, that's the house, and so on. Of course, you do some shopping. I'm bad about taking them shopping, but I take them to shopping with good deals. They have such thing as Goodwill here, and Goodwill is like a place where it's like a donation place, and a bunch of the rich people would donate there. And so you have this designer clothes that normally was $100 and you get it for $4, $5. And so they would load up, And so anyway, so those are things that I would go there, and when I know somebody's moving to a house, and I would buy them some things that I see, some glasses, some plates, some whatever cups. So every time that they move, they always have a little something from me that I've seen as in pretty plates and all that are cute. And I knew that they would be a lot of money in the store, but now here's somebody selling it for $5, $6, $7 a set, so good deals. So you look forward to good deals, right? But then at the same time, they always ask, like, I wonder how much money I should send to the Philippines. And I said, it's really an individual thing. Now, some of our single folks here, I know of someone sending about $700 a month to her family because she's also buying a land there. So it's for her, family plus to pay for the land. And I think that's really smart because then you have your money is going somewhere. Otherwise, you'll just spend it all. Hi, Leslie Caboynas. I see her. She's my regular. Leslie, thank you again. Thank you again. For attending ours and for listening to Jing about the experience. Hi, Leslie. Good morning, girl.
Sorry, I woke up late.
I'm biased against her and Abby. So anyway, did you hear what I said about the $5,000 from Helena? Did you get yours?
Yeah, I woke up late because I was talking to my husband last night and I was telling him about it. And I was just so excited. And I'm really hoping that we could get also our $5,000.
You need to tell your superintendent, like, hey, Helena, I will do that for you. I will say, hey, this administrators.
Well, I have some good news for you because, and I would like to thank you first because this will not be possible without you, without your help, without you calling my superintendent. The next week after, I will be transferred to special education.
That's really what she was hired to do, but she was put in for math.
and they were like telling me that just hang in there because we don't want you going back home. Okay, we need you here.
That's why I told the superintendent, I'm like, her DS 2019 is saying that you are hiring her as a 6th grade special ed. And here you turn around and give her a high school math. So she could be sent home because you are violating her contract, her DS. So, and you was like, really, Merlina? And I'm like, yes, sir. That's exactly what's gonna happen. And so it's like they started moving on it.
Now there's it's now a 360 degrees, the turnout of all the things because they are now so kind and they were kind at the beginning, but they don't know what to do with us because I think it's their first time to hire a Filipino teacher, so they really don't know. But now there are people checking up on us, and they were asking about how are we here in our new home. And I told them that, well, our home is quite comfortable, but it's not that safe because because one of the teachers from Mariana, she told us that even if it's daytime, we cannot go out and walk because just to be sure that we are safe. So we told them that, and now we did not tell them that they should look for a house for us. But the next day they were telling us, oh, Miss Cabanas, come here. We were looking a house for you somewhere near here where you can totally walk and you can do everything outside. If your child want to play outside, we are looking a house for you. And I was like, oh,
that's so nice.
Thank you very much. And it's really I don't know, Doc, because maybe they kept on monitoring us in the camera because we have a camera inside the classroom.
That's what he does. Hey, somebody just told me that's what your principal and superintendent do all the time. So you need to watch.
The camera. I am being watched, and we were surprised yesterday. The other day because we received our first salary, and supposedly our salary would be 42,500 per year, and we were surprised because we got an increase.
Really? Already?
I don't know because supposedly our basic monthly salary is 3,500, but it's 3,800. So I don't know what happened.
You might want to check. He might have put in your raise in the monthly one. Some superintendents are doing that. They may be putting that in the monthly one, which would be about. That's 300 more. That's 3,600 for the year. So he may be doing it that way, or he could be giving raise to everybody. So you need to find out about that.
Because Miss Marisa is also getting it.
Okay, it's everybody. So I was telling him, I had a really long conversation with him, and I said, so Merlina, how do we keep these teachers not, prevent from leaving? And I said, you take care of them. You need to pamper them. You need to make sure they feel supported. You need to make sure that they don't feel oppressed. Like they have somebody to go to. I was telling him about, this one school that have 21, 22 teachers, Filipino teachers, and now they're down to 4. And I always share this with administrators, that's a lesson to be learned by new administrators hiring Filipino teachers. They leave when they don't feel supported. They leave when they feel like they're not, that the administrators are not supporting them and the other teachers are not even saying hi to them. They felt like they were the enemies instead of a friend. You want that kind of, because that reflects back on the administration. What kind of leadership do you have when you are not, you're not supporting this new teacher from another country? So I would be like sharing things like that. So really, I was really kind of, guiding them like, here's what you need to do.
Wondering what happened to them this week, because they are like so nice, and there are like teachers coming in and out of my classroom and would just ask me what foods do I, and then
I want you to leave.
No, I am fine with all the food in America. No, food here are so greasy or something. You wanna eat something from, I can go to like an Asian store or something. And I was like, yeah, that would be nice. Thank you very much. And then there others would like come again and then talk to me about everything.
So he must have sent or talked to them about like, we need to make sure they feel supported. And
Yeah,
is Marissa experiencing the same or just you?
Yeah, she is also experiencing the same, and we keep on getting food delivered to her classroom now. So I am really like surprised, but I am really happy, and I would like to thank you because I know it's you. It's really you.
Well, no, it's you too, because you are very well liked. I mean, they love you and they don't want to lose you. And that's what I said. I said, it's a competition there, Mr. Guthrie. I said, you've got a lot of schools around you. And if they hear that your Filipino teacher is good, they're going to try to steal her. So you need to make sure that you take care of them so they want to stay. They have some kind of loyalty to you. And that's what
because really I've mentioned about I was like, I did not mention it to Mr. Guthrie, but I mentioned it to one of the teachers who is also like teaching from Lee County before. And I was like, I also got a job offer from Lee County, but I accepted Barton first, so that's why I'm here. And I think she said that to Mr. Guthrie too. I think I told him that, and so I am really like happy right now, Doc. I'm really like feel supported, and on Monday, they will be going in my classroom, and was just like they told me, we are not there to criticize you. We are there to see what are the things that we could give you to help you in your teaching and learning, process inside the classroom. I was like, yeah, thank you very much. I am really sorry.
Well, that's what I may have said something about, she's like depressed every day. She's like depressed every night because she had to study for the courses that she didn't expect she was going to be teaching. So this girl is unhappy, so that's what I was like, I was telling him, which is true. You were very unhappy. You were always so upset that you have to stay up late in order to study for the next day's, subjects, which you're not really familiar with because it's been a long time ago when you took this algebra and all that, so you have to pretty much, get ready every night. And it should not be that way because you have taught for more than 10 years. It should be something that already without having to prepare hours. And that's what I was, oh my gosh, I just really shared whatever with him. That's good that they reacted well.
Yes, Doc. The thing with Filipinos, especially us new ones here, we tend to be like, we're all right, okay, we're fine. And then when I talked to them the other day, they were like saying, can you stop being so nice? And tell us what do you really want? Because stop being so nice. Okay, you can talk to us and tell us what you really need inside your classroom. I was like, yeah, I will. And you need to explain that this is a cultural thing. We just very shy and very modest folks that you have to be kind of closer to us in order for us to even open up. And that is very cultural thing, or sometimes an individual thing. You're one of the quiet folks, and so quiet folks like my husband, you have to know them in order for them to even open up and tell you what they really think. So you need to do that to Leslie. You need to tell them if you need something, because they will take care of it. They don't want to, to lose you and Marissa. I did tell him, I said, you need to hire 2 people, not just one, because that person will be so lonely in your school. And now they're like moving everyone so that I can be accommodated to special ed. Like they are moving a lot of people.
Oh,
So,
wow.
but I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So I talked to the people who are like being moved, and they were like, we are really fine because this is what because I think he also considered the others, because Miss Madison, the one across Miss Marisa's classroom, she want to be transferred also to my level, because she is not really a math teacher, so she wanna to get down, because it's really hard for her to teach what is
The higher math, yes.
And now she is also being moved, so it's like
Make
they
her
are
happy.
accommodating everybody. They are like listening to the teachers. So I am
That's good. That is good, because I'm telling you, there are maybe less than 10 schools in Arkansas with 24-hour camera, in their classroom, and you are one of them. Helena's another one. Brinkley's another one. There's 3 so far that I know. Does Lee County have one too, all the time?
they have cameras inside.
So I think it's for safety, because it's for safety. If you have any, for your God forbid, a gunman or active shooting thing, they can see where they are and so on. It's for safety, and also really for them to monitor without being there and be a distraction to you, and just be aware of it. Just of course you forget it's there, but just be aware that I'm doing something right. I'm always doing something right. I don't care if the camera is there, because I'm not doing anything that I could get in trouble for. And when I had the camera, when I was one of the administrators, and our school also had a camera, and I was always like, when I'm eating my lunch, for example, I'm always watching the camera. I'm like multitasking. I'm like, okay, let me see. There are always some teachers that I'd like to check. How are they doing? Teachers that I have warned that every time I go in a classroom, they're always sitting, ordering something on eBay or Amazon or something, one of the teachers I actually caught being addicted to online games. So he was over there playing his online game while the kids were just given worksheets. And I would notice that every time I would check in this classroom, he's always on a computer, and the kids always are doing worksheets. And so I would go so many times during the day, and I think later on he just like left, because I guess he felt like we're picking on him. But it was our technology person can also check on where you've been in the computer. So that technology person was the one that found out that this teacher was always playing this particular game, that he was always, the whole time, the 6 hours or 7 hours that you're in the classroom, he's working, he's playing with it. That's really awful. That's awful addiction. Yeah. So we got rid of him. In his own, he kind of moved on, but things like that, they are watching for that. And I think also another thing that we watched was those teachers who are teaching with computers. We also watch the students that are, are they going to other sites, or are they making they're messing up with the computer and just to mess it up. So things like that, we could actually, these are evidence that we could use, whenever they are having destruction of property. So there's so many functions for it, but also it could be used negatively by administrators by just trying to, trying to pick on a teacher and saying, okay, I'm going to watch this teacher the whole time, so I could find something negative I could use against this teacher. So it could be used for good, a lot of good, but there are also some bad, depending on their filter towards you. But so far, they have really positive filter with you and Marissa. They really think that you're doing an awesome job. So I'm so glad. I am.
We don't even sit down.
Yeah, but you can sit down. The only time I sat down was when I was grading papers and the kids were also taking a test. That's pretty much the only time I sat down.
Because even if we are grading papers, we are standing up.
Yeah.
Because there's a camera. There's a 360 angle camera, so they can
they see everything. Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's it's good to know that, right? But anyway, but they're very open about it, that there is a camera. There's signs everywhere that 24-hour surveillance. But I think it's really for your safety. And anytime that a student would say, hey, this teacher did this, well, they can just go back and see if this is really true. So nobody can just make up things about you, because they can go back to the history. I don't know if they keep the recording all year long. I really don't know. Maybe it's in the cloud, but they can always go back. So nobody could just make up things, So they are, so the protection for the teachers and students. So that's something that everyone else need to learn, that there might be, you know, they expect that there might be cameras in the classrooms that you would be teaching. As far as I know, they're supposed to tell you. As far as I know, they're not just going to hide it from you. You will see it anyway. You'll see the cameras. Yeah, you see the cameras. Yeah. So anything that you want to share with them other than that, Leslie? Some aha moments that you have about teaching in America. This is, you finished 1 month already.
If you are here in America, because it's like this is a different culture, this is a different country, so your kids are not the same as what you have in the Philippines. So do not expect that what you are doing in the Philippines is also effective here. But I'm not saying that you can, like, you will empty your cup in here. Just, you know, add something to the cup that you're having. So if you are like a half, if you have a cup that is full already, just add some, you know, honey on it. Because it's really different. But I'm not saying that you cannot use everything that you have learned from the Philippines. You can still use that in here, but you just have to modify, because it's really a different culture. Like kids here, because they are introduced, or they have technologies inside the class, so they tend to you know, tell you that they don't want to write, because why do you want us to write when you have your printer inside your classroom? You could have print that one. And they would tell you that, because they are very straightforward. Unlike the kids in the Philippines, they would not tell you, because they are afraid of the teachers, and they're respected.
Not here.
Yeah, not here. It's not that they don't respect you. It's that they are really straightforward, and they speak what's in their mind.
Yeah, they're direct communicator. That's the thing. Yeah, Asians are indirect communicator. We go around and around in circles and not tell people. But them, they will be directly telling you how they feel.
Tell you how they feel, and if they don't like it, if it's difficult, if they don't like it, or if they are sleepy, or anything that they want to tell you, they will tell you that. And I would like to say that please do not take it personally, because it's just, you know, it's just how they communicate. And sometimes I did that for like a week, and I told myself, why would I take it personally? It's just the way they are. And I realized that sooner, that it's not a personal thing. It's just how they communicate. And I'm really like happy that I realized that. That's it.
Yeah, and that's a good realization, Leslie, that it's not, you know, it's really, what did they say, 90% is about how we take the situation and what we do about it.
Yeah.
You know, the 10 things that happen to us, 10% that happens to us, and 90% of it is really how we handle it. And you're handling it fine, because it is the expectations that we have. It's going to be different, because the students are different. So you're not going to expect them to just come in being quiet and just putting their hands down and waiting for you. No, they're going to come in really loud.
They will.
So what have you had them trained where they would line up and then come in quietly in the moment that you step in my room, that this is the learning zone? Have you done that?
Trying to do that every time, especially when they are out, but it's really hard, because they're like, I have 7 sessions, so
you don't want to waste time.
And it's 15 minutes. I only have 15 minutes in my class for each of the, so it's really hard for me to even finish my topic, because, you know, in here I have to break down all of the pieces, because for them to understand, because last year they didn't have a math teacher. So it's like I am going back to where they were. So I breaking it down. So, and then I realized, it's time already. And then, but I am like, but they're not like, I haven't like asked them to fall in line, but I told them that if I do not say that you can go, please do not go out.
Yep. The bell is not your teacher.
Okay, goodbye everyone. See you tomorrow. And that's the time that they will go out.
Very good. Very good. Because obviously you've trained them to do that, because some teachers, they would just like get up and get their stuff, and the teacher will like, what, you know, no, you are in charge of that room.
And I'm just very happy. Thank you, Doc. I am learning a lot, and I have been, you know, applying all of the things. That's why I'm attending every Saturday.
Well, I'm sending your superintendent an MOU, which is a memo of understanding. That's our contract, and I'm gonna visit you once a month. I think we talked about that. So yeah, don't be afraid. I'm there to support you, not to get you. Okay, I'm gonna give you your glows and your grows.
Yeah, Mr. Willis was there yesterday. I was disappointed the last time because the last time was not really that, because my children that they were just, because I think it's because of the football game that they were having that, and it was like that class. I have like at least 15 football players, so they were like excited about the game. Yesterday I was talking to him and he was telling me, you know what, you're not a bad teacher, and I had a lot of clothes and I only have one girl, so I am just so happy.
That's very good. Well, the one thing that I don't know if you did this, but if you have a lot of athletes in your classroom here in America, you always talk to their coach. If somebody would misbehave, send a list or an email to the coach saying, I cannot get this, students to behave in my class. Can you please help me? Oh my gosh. It only takes one time to ask that coach because they are given extra run, extra things that they have to do in order to punish them. And they don't want those extra things. So the coach was always telling me, Dr. McCullough, you need to tell these teachers that they can always turn in names to us and we will give them extra activities to do. I'm like, really? He said, yeah, things they hate, like running extra few.
That's really funny. Because there are teachers that will like tell me, because I have a lot of I made new friends here, and they like me because they call me sweet and cute because and they were like because they thought at the beginning that I was one of the new students.
Yeah, so you and Abby are you're so young looking that you don't look like you and your age that you are. Yeah,
they thought I was like a high school student coming in, and they were asking, who is that new student that you were talking to? And then one of the teachers, oh, she's not the student, she is our new math teacher. And they were like, what? And they would like talk to me and ask me where I'm from, and they were like telling me that if the students in your class misbehave, you have to write them up immediately. And I was like thinking, no, I could not do that because there are things that I can just let it pass, it's not because I observed one of them. If one of the students would talk, they would immediately write them up.
Yeah, they some of them are so strict, but you have to pick pick the hill that you pick the hill of the battle that you're willing to die. The hill that you die in. And so things that you really are non-negotiables for you. And then before that, warn them. You need to be looking at your discipline policy and to go with that, because if a parent would ever argue with you, and they would always use that handbook to say what the policy is. Is it verbal first, and then a parent, and then counselor, and then principal? Because if you write them up, that's straight to the principal. So you skip three things. And so some of the teachers do that. They would actually skip and they would go straight to that. But they may be lucky if a parent will not be knowledgeable enough to question it. Like, why did you not do this? When in the handbook, it says this. And some, and they always say that the US is a litigious society. That means they really like to sue you. So if a person would like to sue you for something, that's one thing that you could do is make sure that you are following the policies. So go back to that and make sure that you follow it to the letter of the law of the policy. Yeah.
I'm not writing somebody up because I don't want to, and I can still handle them right now. And I just want to read that one because they have not given me anything about, and I want to look into it before I'm going to write somebody.
It's on their website usually because it's required. But if they're not, you need to email somebody, that you think could give you. Maybe the superintendent's wife is the curriculum person. She may be able to give you that. But yeah, I think that's one thing that you need to remember, to always follow your policies. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Hey, Leslie, one more thing. Can you please share everybody, if you don't mind, your place there? This is their new apartment. It's really cute. Yeah. Do you mind?
Yeah, I'm gonna give a house tour.
Yeah, go give them a house tour if you don't mind, because I helped them. I went down there and helped them.
Yeah, this is like on the day that we are like moving into this place. So it was Dr. Merlina. So this was like bare, empty, but Dr. Merlina helped us to make this place a decent one.
That's nice. That's a living room.
And then that's our kitchen right there. So we just had our breakfast. So I'm sorry. That's our rice because we cannot live without rice. So that's it. So this is what we have.
kitchen, sink.
Yeah, that's Ate Abby because we just had our breakfast. That's her husband, by the way. And this is my bedroom here.
Yeah. They went and bought this matching sets of
yeah. So that's our bathroom right there. I don't want to show you the one. So this is our room right there. Let me see if my room is clean. Oh, Ate Abby.
Sorry.
It's okay. So this is our house. So I would just like to share it to everyone that the day that we were moving, we don't have anybody to. We were like, we were so stressed because nobody would like come and get us and take our things in here. But there's Dr. Merlina.
Bringing us some mugs and
she went here. She went to our previous place because we were living at Helena and we were with other teachers. So she went there, helped carrying all the things I don't know about her, but we're like, no, can you stop doing that? And she was like, no, stop making me useless.
You're useless, yeah.
Yeah.
We were at Walmart, which is a Gaisano there till about close to midnight, 11 something, right?
Yeah, 11, and you were there helping us pick the things that we are needing inside our home. And you were like,
yeah, but it was fun for me. It was very fun. I got to my hotel about midnight, I think, that night.
Yeah.
It was
these paintings are from her, that one right there.
Decorations.
I know some decorations because I don't know. Most of the things that are here are from.
So the mugs and the
yeah, this one here. I think these are from her right there.
I told you about Goodwill. That's what a Goodwill is.
Yeah, so it's really like I don't know.
Feels like home. You made it a home.
Yeah, it really feels like home. It's like a home away from home.
Yes,
Thank
and
you,
that's important.
Aside from bringing us here, she helped us arrange things because it's different in the Philippines.
I was just sharing things with them, like, yeah, you want to do trash can.
For this because it's like this in here. Oh, really, Doc? And you're like, okay. So
and one thing I remember sharing with you that don't put all the stuff on the counter. It's like a mess. You need to hide them in the cabinet, and it should just be neat on top.
This is not a store because in the Philippines you just like to display things, display all the groceries that we have. And then she was like telling us, "Oh, stop putting that one. You have a lot of cabinets. Put it inside because this is not a store." I was like, yeah, we will do that though.
It looks neater.
Really, thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I know you have taken extra mile for us here. I don't know. And she even picked Ate Abby's husband from the airport. I don't know in the Marina, but she is just like that. Or she's
it's okay. I enjoy every minute with you guys, so I don't care. It's okay. It's fun for me too. Yeah. But thanks for sharing.
It's really her love language.
Yeah, it is pretty much. Thank you again, Leslie. I appreciate you. Okay, see you next week. Okay, bye. Sinando was raising his hand. Sinando, what were you saying? Mike, do you mind looking at chat for me too, please? Oh, I know there's a lot of people talking. I'm sorry. Mike, to everyone. Mike, what were you sending to everyone?
Doc, I'm just sending the link of our FB group.
Okay.
Also the GC messenger
GC
link, and also our website. The link of our website.
Yeah.
They can
Mike, for doing that.
They can fill out the form there, and also they can also send their resume and cover letter on your email address.
Yes, they have if you don't mind, everyone, if you don't have this, you might want to copy and paste it to a new Word document or Google Doc, because those are important links that you might want to have or not. But anyway, but yeah, okay. Sinando, what were you raising your hand for? We have 30 minutes. Were you raising your hand for something?
No, Doc, I'm just giving an applause, and I just enjoyed what's just being shared.
Oh, yeah. And I thought that was a worth sharing because it is very motivating that this is real. It's not just a dream. It actually happens. Mike is gonna be happening to Mike pretty soon, hopefully, because Mike
for Mike soon.
The school is paying for the $2,500 extra to do a premium processing, which means within 2 weeks we will know the result for theirs. So we are waiting right now for the LCA approval. They needed some paperwork. They always put denial if they need paperwork. They need 2 paperwork, Mike. And Miss Mills was like scared to death. Oh, Dr. McCullough, we got denied. And I'm like, Dr. Mills, Miss Mills, they're gonna put denial there if they need some paperwork. So all you have to do is meet what they said and meet it, and then you continue to meet it until they would approve you. And so she was scared to death. And I was like, no, don't worry about it. That's not even immigration yet. That's just Department of Labor. The Department of Labor wants to know that you're paying the Filipinos, the international teachers, the same as what you would here. And it's also that part of the paperwork is also saying that the teachers are not replacing, local teachers that may be on strike or whatever. And another one is that you are kind of giving them benefits of what they should be getting here. You're not being oppressed, is really what it is. They want to make sure that another side of that is they're not losing the jobs for the locals in favor of the international teachers. So that's the step 1 of immigration here is for H-1B, is to ensure that that's not happening, that you are being treated fairly. At the same time, you're not taking the job of somebody else that's also as qualified as you locally. So there's no discrimination on both ends. And so that's hopefully they're supposed to just take about 2 weeks, but we submitted it and it's like in a couple of days we heard something that they need something. So hopefully they will be as fast. So once we get that, then we will need the paperwork from you, Mike, and the other 3. The one I sent you, the 2 forms, so that we could send in, because she already got all your paperwork scanned. So it's very quick. Once we get it from you and we get the approval, and we'll send it in, and then the 2 weeks, then no 2 weeks wait will start. Okay. And so so what happens is I don't know. I have to ask my brother-in-law if the immigration would deny, what is the next step? Because I know it's not the end. I mean, there's going to be more steps that you can do, but right now we'll just need to think positively that you will be approved because 3 of the 4 of you have your masters and above. And so if you have your masters and above, you're not actually part of the 65,000 people quota. I mean, teacher quota there. You are going to have the extra 20,000. So you have 85,000, limit there instead of just 65. So you're part of 20,000 extra that they're going to choose. So that's going to give you a little advantage. I don't remember who of you did not get their masters. One of you did not, but yeah, so I'm hoping, because we applied for you as a whole, so that hopefully an approval of 1 will be an approval of 4, hopefully. But at the same time, on how the immigration works is individual teacher will be putting their own things there. So that has to be looked at individually. So it's not like a package deal. So you are being looked at as individual, individual merit. So make sure that you put accurate information there. There's some things there, Mike, make sure that you, and this is for everyone else too, you either put another screen and look at the directions step by step or print it out, because some of them things might be like, if don't leave it blank, you have to put something there, an A or 0 or whatever. So you pay attention to the directions because it tells you exactly what to do. If you do not follow the directions, that could be a reason that you get denied, because they are not going to want to go back and forth with you. So the first time you do it, you need to make sure it's accurate. Okay, so I always look at the directions. I have helped people and candidates or applicants, so many of them. I've helped them in so many different immigration papers, from K-1 visa, to the spousal visa. And I know the key is to read every word in the direction. They'll just tell you question 1, and this is what you should do. No. Question 2, this is what you should, so you read those. I know it's kind of, to me, it's like lengthy sometimes for something as simple as just putting your last name, but you read it, okay? It's very important to read every word in that instructions, because that's how people, will get delayed. It might make a difference of you coming this year and next year. So make sure you read it. Okay. All right. So we only have about 30 minutes to reach our goal, but if we need to have more, that's okay. That was just a goal. Sometimes we don't reach it. What is it? How many minutes, Dr. Elvin?
33 minutes.
Okay, so we're hoping, and how we can do this, and I try to watch it myself too. If we only have that 2 hours, for example, and so if we have the opportunity to talk, try to kind of be succinct and clear and quick, okay, because that would help everybody else on the time. I'm trying to do that too. But anyway, okay, so Fehelin Macapobre, do you want to talk to us? She turned off her camera, so if you cannot, Abby's
Okay,
there.
hello.
April. Oh, April. Did
Good.
you hear what I said to Mike? That your four had been, pretty close to step 2 or the last step anyway. So yeah, have you done your paperwork that I sent, the 2 forms? Oh, April was muted and she disappeared. Okay, April, there you go. Talk to us, please.
Yes.
So where are you on your paperwork, April?
Hello, good morning, Doc Marley.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Yes. Where are you on your paperwork?
Yeah, actually we are working on it, and honestly, we just have some part of the form which we don't know how to, because I think that needs information about our petitioner and the sponsor itself. So that is what we are talking about with Sir Mike, Mom Jansen, and Dina the last night.
Okay, so make a list of your question and send it to Miss Mills and CC me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that is what we are compiling now.
Okay.
And right now, what we are doing is that we are just answering the parts that we are familiar with, and those with details of ourselves.
Yes.
And then the rest, and the rest we leave it blank for a while. And then after reading everything, Doc Marley, for sure we will ask questions.
No problem. Just let me know, because I don't know that. If I don't know, make sure you read the instruction before you ask me.
Yeah.
Because a lot of time it's answered. Okay. Because then I have to go read it again.
Thank you to Sir Mike. Thank you so much to Sir Mike for guiding us and giving us.
He's the leader there. Miss Mills would always say, "Yeah, Mike keeps me on my toes," or something like that. That's what she says. So
Actually, Doc,
you have to be proactive.
The only details that I wrote in my form is my surname, my name, my first name, and my middle.
You need to do better. Yeah. Anyway, just remember that once we get that LCA approved, you really are wasting time if you don't get that done, because at the moment we send it, your count starts. Okay. So don't waste your time. Okay.
And
you want to know.
And another thing, Doc Marley, we've also asked our other colleagues here in the Philippines who are working also with H1B, and they told us that these 2 forms are actually, what do you mean by that? These forms are will be answered by the employer.
Yes.
So most of the details there actually. We don't know really what to answer. So they just told us that they weren't the one who answered it. It's their sponsors who actually answered it. And I just told them that it's okay. Our employer just ask for help, so that whenever they need the form, they have it on hand already. So that's it. So we are thinking that we can just answer what we know. And only the details that we have, and then after that we will just talk to the Miss Mills about the blanks in our forms.
No, she can do that. She and I can do that. The difference is, when you ask those other teachers, they are paying $6,000 or whatever to the agency. Well, they have to do that because that's what you're paying them for. Well, they're not paying us. I am pretty much volunteering my time to help her.
Yes.
And then when I come there, before I go to my hotel, I've been helping her. And then that's why I'm asking you guys to help Miss Mills put the information, because she doesn't know the information, or she has to look it up.
Yes.
And she's got a full-time job on her own. She's in the HR. So that's why I feel bad. I'm like, oh, Miss Mills, you have to do this 4 times. Let's just ask them to see if they could fill out their part, and then we'll fill out the school part later. And she said, that's a good idea. And I said, yeah, it's always a good idea to give the work back sometimes, you know, in order to get help, because she was getting frustrated. Because she had all, I'm helping her. There are people coming to her office. There are people calling her and so on. I'm like, oh my God. She said, I'm so frustrated because I can't be sitting down here and help me, you know, getting your help, because there's all kinds of people, you know, asking her for her regular job. And that's why I decided to send that to you guys. So thank you for your helping her. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. You're saving.
Actually, we're very happy, and we were very happy and excited that we are taking in part of the application. At least we were informed of what level or step are we in. So and we are just it is clear for us that we just have to answer our part. And then later on, Miss Mills, and of course, we know you, Doc Merle, you will help us later on with our
the thing is, the agency was going to charge them $6,500 for each one of you. It's saving the school $26,000. So I said, that's ridiculous. I think Miss Mills and I can figure it out and save you all $26,000. I would rather have that $26,000 spent on something else that the international teachers may need later. I would rather, and the $5,000 waiting for you guys.
Oh my God. Very excited.
That is exciting. Yeah. Thank you so much for attending. Okay, Erwin, what's new with you? What's new with you? You reminded me that the 15th was supposed to be the deadline for the 2-minute introduction, and I'm not getting very many. I'm disappointed with that. You know, Erwin was an example I posted on the website, and I'm not. Let's extend the deadline till the end of the month. Okay, so Mike, if you don't mind me, we'll put that on the website, Mike, that we are extending that because people are busy possibly. But because that would help you now. October 1 is when new visas will be available. And so the more things that you have to be above others, that they will be able to see you with your video, that will be better chance for you to get hired or to get interviewed anyway. Okay, so I am trying to encourage you to show yourself already with a video, because the concern here, the concerns of the administrators in the US is that how fluent are they in English? So if you have your 2-minute introduction, they will see how fluent you are in English. Okay, and they are afraid that the students might not be able to understand you and all these things. So you got that answered by having your video. So all you had to do is like make it and send me the link of it, and I'll put the link on the application, on the list of the Google Sheet, and then they can click on it. When they like you, they look at your line information and they click on that and they'll see your 2-minute introduction. So I think Dr. Elvin, you already sent me, or was it Erwin, and who else? Sinanda, who was it? So other people have sent it to me, and they have gotten some interviews. So maybe that really helped. So we'll see. Okay, so I encourage you to do that, huh?
Ma'am Erica La Chica, is it La Chica?
Classroom practices on FB page, Sinando. Yes, you can post it. Yes, go ahead, Mike. What is it?
Miss Erica La Chica is asking if you received her video.
I haven't opened it, but I think I saw it on my inbox. But I haven't opened it because I'm busy.
We will ask Sir Erwin's permission to post his video on our website.
Yeah. Can we post it on our website?
Sir Mike, you're so mean.
Huh? Erwin, can we post it on the website? I told Mike to do not post anything without asking permission.
Yeah.
And you need,
Sir Erwin.
Yes, ma'am, it's okay.
You choose.
No worries.
Choose. You're going to post your intro video, or we're going to post your
TikTok videos.
Really? Put the link there.
The video.
But if you have TikTok videos that you're teaching, I would love to see it. So do post those, because if you are showing us strategies or you're showing us to help you, things that's working in your classroom, I would love to see those. I'm getting into TikTok, but I've not made one, but I've enjoyed watching. You know, I've discovered some of my friends are doing TikTok videos. I'm like, who is this person? You know, like you're dancing and I'm like, I've never seen this person dance. You know? So, but I want it to be school related, please. Okay, I don't want it to just be silly videos. I want this site to be serious. It is about teaching. We're taking it seriously. We want to bring folks here to the US, but we don't want to just put silly things there, because then we would lose people. Now, especially on our support site, because support site has a lot, including the Department of Education Commissioner. Secretary Key is one of our members. So you really need to take it seriously. He was saying things like, oh, this looks like we're going to be very useful for teachers and administrators, not just for international teachers. He was saying things like that to me. So I know that he is looking at it. Okay. And he was putting like on some of the pictures. So I know he's watching it. So yeah. So if you have TikTok videos, Erwin, make sure it's school related, and feel free to share it with us. Okay. And anybody, you should be feel free to share anything there. Just make sure that there's no bad language, that it doesn't make us look bad, like the Filipinos look bad. You know, I would always kind of look for that. Like, we don't want ourselves to be like, we don't want to discourage them from hiring Filipinos, is what I'm saying. So try to be positive, you know. And then anything that you want to share, really. I wish that more people would post, because at night I would look at it and I'm like, what else can I post? You know, I would be reading things and I'm like, okay, I'll post this one, but I'm running out of ideas. So you all can share, because the other teachers and administrators here in the US would also like to see how you teach in the Philippines. It's a cultural exchange, guys. You know, they're learning from you and we're learning from them. So make sure that you do that, okay? I would really like that. Okay, Girly is a sister to Leslie, right? Yeah, Girly.
Hi.
Really, thank you.
Good evening. And good morning.
So how are you? Are you getting interviews, or are you trying to apply?
I'm actually trying to apply, and I have sent to you my cover letter and resume already, but I haven't sent my short video. But Doc, I just want to take this opportunity to really thank you, Doc, because upon listening to my sister, because I haven't talked to her yesterday, and we kept on praying for her, like she's part of the rosary, because she really has this struggle on the early part of her journey in the US. But then hearing tonight that she is doing well and she's loved by the people around her, and she was really supported by you, I am really very happy. And it's like, oh my God, it's an answered prayer for us here in the Philippines, and it makes us happy, and it makes us feel that she is safe and she is really protected, and she is comfortable in the US already by the time being, Doc. And we are really truly grateful to you for giving her a chance.
No, you're welcome. I think God is just making me, God is just making me a tool to help. But of course, they're so easy to be good to, because they're like two of my favorites. So I'm biased to them. So anyway, yeah, go ahead and tell us more, Girly, like your process.
Like you really, it's so hard to find a person like you, Doc, because you really help them from the beginning until the end of their journey in the US, and bless you in their journey. We really felt blessed, and like we are praying that, oh my God, it inspired me a lot knowing her story, and you also, it inspired me a lot to really dream of becoming a teacher in the US, especially with the experience of my sister, with a different form of discipline that we need to inculcate with the students there, and the form of discipline that we have here in the Philippines. It's really different, and that oh my God, I also wanted to experience those kinds of things. And
it's a challenge for sure. Yeah, it's a challenge for sure. Yeah.
I hope, and I think it will be a very big lesson for me to really learn and to better myself in my teaching career.
It takes patience, you guys. It takes patience, and several of them actually cried, either privately or to someone, with someone, because it is really a shocking thing. I mean, it's really not like, you should count yourself so blessed that how our students there are behaving, because when you come here, a bunch of them do not behave that way. Just the opposite, you know, like some of them would even go as far as talk back to the teacher in front of the other students. You don't ever want them to do that to you. You know, that's why whenever they start being rude or whatever, I do not like try to talk to them in front of the class. I would put like, give the others an independent task, and then I would pull the student outside and have a very respectful, quiet conversation with the student, because when they are in front of their peers, they want to show out. They were like, oh, I'm going to give this teacher. Let me show this teacher, especially middle school and high school. You know, they're going to prove to their peers, because their peers at that time are their families. They're going to prove to their peers that I'm going to embarrass this teacher. You don't want that. You don't want to give the student an opportunity to do that to you. So yeah, so good point there. So Girly, continue to work on it. At schoolspring.com, I'm seeing a lot of new advertisement now. And you don't have to worry about staying in Arkansas, guys, because even if you're in other states, we are still going to be able to help you. You know, try, if you want to stay within the surrounding states, that's where I sent your names anyway, like Missouri and Texas, Oklahoma is close, and Louisiana, Tennessee, Alabama, Kentucky. Those are really close to us. Because like Mississippi, then Alabama, and then Georgia, and then Florida. Those things here, MAG, it's spelled MAG, M-A-G, and then Florida. Those are just pretty close, like distance, I mean, like driving distance for us. Okay.
How about New Orleans, Doc?
New Orleans is good. It's in Louisiana. New Orleans would be a lot of poverty there too, Dr. Elvin. Lots of crime. But if hopefully you'll be in a good part of it. You know,
how about Baton Rouge?
Huh? Baton Rouge, yeah, Baton Rouge is nice. We had my husband and I bought like several towers, you know, those little cell phone tower stuff. We bought 80, and about, let me think, 14, I think, was in Louisiana. And so we went to Louisiana, all over Louisiana. And I noticed that like New Orleans, very like some dirty places. Like it reminds me of some of our dirty places in the Philippines. You know, it's almost like the slum part of the US, you know, some of the places. And there's like a part there, there's this part where they do the Mardi Gras and all this, you know, what you see on TV. That's a very high crime place. Like we were just passing there one night, and we were on our way to our hotel, and our hotel was one of the nice ones, you know, Hilton or, you know, something nice. And so we were just passing through that neighborhood, and there were like 3 cops there, 3 people were arrested. So, you know, when you see those at night, that's always, that, you know, that doesn't make you feel like it's a safe place, especially if it's like every night. The other people there in the hotel said, oh yeah, that's a nightly thing. We're used to that. So my husband said, let's get out of here fast. You know, he didn't want to be annoyed there. So just kind of, I think in every area, there's always the safe place, and there's always the you know, the not good place. So, and your fellow teachers or administrators would tell you that, but you know, that's not something you bring up on the interview, because if you bring it up interview, sometimes, you know, especially your African American administrators, they're going to think of it like a racist thing. Because when you say it's not safe, a lot of times what they mean is that it's not safe because there's a lot of Blacks in there, you know, and that is very racist thing to say, or a lot of Mexicans there, or they call them Mexican. They should say Latinx should be the term you use instead of Mexicans. You don't know if they're from Mexico just because they speak, you know, Spanish. So you have to say Latinx is that politically correct to say, instead of Mexican to say Latinx. Yes. So be careful about the word safe, because they're gonna think of it like you're being racist against their folks, you know, whatever. So just my friend, my Black friend actually told me that. I said, oh my gosh, I've always said that, Vanessa. I didn't know this. Oh yeah, that's because that's the connotation of it, is that you are putting, you know, that community down because it's, you know, full of us. You know, and they have such thing as called white flight. And I said, what's a white flight? He said, well, whenever they have this subdivision, for example, and you have this whole mostly white, and then here comes the other minorities, you know, either Asians or African Americans coming in and buying places, and they would start leaving that area, and they would go somewhere else where it's mostly, you know, their kind. And so anyway, so that's called white flight. And that's what she taught me, a lot of things. She taught me about colorism. You know what colorism is? We might have that in the Philippines too. Colorism is within the culture, like in their culture, there's different shades of black. So there's really black and there's like more medium and all that. So colorism within their own culture is that they actually think that the lighter they are, the beautiful they are. Like they don't think that the really, really dark ones are pretty to them. And that's colorism within their culture. And so I think in the Philippines, we do the same. Like people are having this white, we become white because, and I told her and I said, I think we do have that in the Philippines. We don't call it colorism, but we kind of favor, like you are very, like I think on my four family member, or my 4 girls in my family, when we were growing up, I was the lightest one. And so they're like, oh yeah, Ellen is pretty. What is Ellen, my nickname? Oh, and I said, because going back, maybe because I was the whitest, I don't know, but we're all dark now. We like the sun. So all 4 of us are dark. But yeah, there's colorism in their culture also. And so I think it was Leslie, was it Leslie or Abby? It was Leslie, I think, that said that one of the Black students said, what do you think of us? What do you think, And she said, oh, you're beautiful, all this. And and you give them compliment. Really, they're finding out if you like their culture, if they like the way they look, or how do you feel about them? It's really their way of asking you of a validation. When students are asking that means that they need a validation. The language of love is the word of affirmation. They want to be told positive things. And a lot of times is because at home, they don't get that. So in the classroom, they are needing that from us. So as teachers, we need to provide that if we can, right? So try to, if you have an opportunity to read the language of love, read it, because there's 5 different ways to love or to receive love. Okay, so Giselle, thank you for attending again.
Hello, Doc.
Yeah, what's up with you? What's new this week? Do you have any successes or anything that you want to share? Things that made you happy this week? I always remember there are always some things that happen that I'm so excited to tell my husband. I'm like, oh my gosh, I had this student and all this, and this student knew this today. And, things like that, as simple as that, I would share victories. So do you have anything that made you happy this week from school?
I haven't returned to school yet, Doc. This
I
will be
forgot you're still on maternity leave.
Yes, Doc. That will be
Yes.
on the 23rd day of September, so I'll be back.
Okay, well, good luck on that. I know it's hard. Oh my God, that's going to be so hard for you to leave your baby.
Yeah.
I remembered. I was like, oh, do I have to leave my baby? And I live across the road. So I'm like, I'm just a few yards away, but still, I was still hurting from leaving my baby. I felt like, should I just like not go back to school? But at that time I was so young. I'm like, no, I need my 25 years. Yep. Okay, good luck on that.
Doc Merlina, we have 10 minutes more.
10 minutes. Okay, well, let's just go over like 30 minutes today because I've not talked to everybody. Okay, so let's think of it as 40 minutes because I don't want to not talk to everybody. Oh, Feheline, did we ever turn on? Did we see? I forgot already. Feheline, we didn't talk to you, right? I keep calling you. Yeah,
hello,
go ahead
good
and talk to us.
evening.
Yeah, tell us about
Okay,
you.
I'm Fejeline Macapobre. It's
Okay.
pronounced as Fejeline.
Okay.
I am an elementary public school teacher here. I've been teaching for 16 years. So 7 years of that is spent in the private school, and then in the public school, I've been teaching for 9 years. And currently I am a grade 6 teacher, but I have also taught in the lower years, such as grades 2 and 3.
Okay.
And and then as of now, I'm still planning to apply in the US. I have attended orientations from agencies. And then last time I also attended this Zoom meeting, but I was not able to finish until the end.
Okay.
And I've only stayed quite long now, and this is the only time I'm able to attend.
Okay.
So I have received invitations in the past few days, but I was not able to attend because I was so busy with work.
Yeah.
And yes, and now I've decided to finally attend and try to listen to the experiences of the teachers who have been working there.
Uh-huh.
And
Thank you.
because
Thank you for doing that, for coming back in. Yeah.
because I would like to hear from them,
Mhm.
from their experiences.
Yeah, and that's why I told Abby and Leslie that, and the others, that if you can at all, and I know it's kind of waking up early on a Saturday for them, but if you can at all, join us, because you always have some new things that you can share, and to me that's very motivating, to everyone, and to learn from it, really, right? Okay,
Yes, Doc.
so make sure, if you have not sent me, I think you have sent me things, but if you have not sent me things that I've asked, please send it to me, okay? Just McCullough Merlina
Okay.
at Gmail. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
Doc.
so yeah, and so I talked to Girly, I talked to Marissa, I've talked to you, right? Marissa, San Diego. I like your last name. It's a state, it's a city.
Morning there.
Hello.
Yeah, I was able to introduce myself last week.
Last time. Okay. Tell us what's new with you. What's something exciting that happened in the class this week?
Well, I was very happy this week because I was really struggling with my weak students.
Oh.
Most of the time, although we were just in week 4, I easily get annoyed and frustrated when the lesson were still basic and easy, and yet they cannot cope up yet. So actually, this week I was really praying hard for, like you mentioned about, because I was inspired by your message last time that those who are weak, they were the ones who really need us as teachers.
Mhm.
So when during this week, I was really praying hard for patience, for compassion for them. So this week, I was able to apply that one, to be really patient when they can't get it. I have to reteach, like explain again to them. And
Mhm.
before, when you try to teach 3 4 times, you really get annoyed. I really get annoyed, but this week, annoyance was not there. So I
Good.
thank the Lord for that, and you reminding us that we exist not only for the good ones, for the excellent students,
Yep.
but especially to those who are really really struggling, because they are the ones who really need the teachers.
That's
So
right. Very good
I'm
learning
happy
there,
with that.
April. Yeah, very good learning, April. But if you
Still in
do
the
an interview and you share, try to not use the word annoying. Just say, my patience was tested. You can say things like that, because when you say I'm annoyed, it's kind of sounds negative, right? So you might want to say my patience was really tested, and I'm so glad that, whatever. So it's kind of like balancing it. You say something that kind of may be negative, but then you make it positive. Okay, so that's one thing I would say to you. But thank you for sharing that. That is so good that you got more patient. That means improvement, and that means reflection on your part. And as a teacher, the more that we reflect, the better that we get. Okay, because we learn from it. Because if we didn't learn from it, then we just continue to make the same mistakes. So that's very good reflection on your part. And instead of saying weaker students, you might want to say high risk. My high risk students. And that would be more, I think that's more not as negative either, the high risk. So that means as a teacher, we're going to have to make sure that we address our high risk students. And your smart students, your higher ones, you would say low risk. Okay. And the others, the average, you say medium risk students. So that's kind of high, medium, low risk would be better than saying weaker, so, or regular. So I would say that low, medium, high risk. Just a suggestion, because then it's much more common to use that here, because once you start saying, oh, my smart students, my whatever students, then, it's kind of, I guess, relative, because some of our students might be smarter in certain topics and some of them are not on another. So it's kind of make it relative. But if you say that they are this kind of students, low, medium, and high, then you can kind of see, okay, so that's the kind of learners they are. Okay, but thank you for sharing that. Anybody else that had learned something and applied it in their classroom? I love hearing those, because those are things that others can learn from, things that you have used. Because remember what I said, if you have learned one thing and you applied it, I'm very happy. Say, go ahead. Yeah, Edini. Yeah, you mute yourself. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Good evening, Doc.
Yes.
I just like to share about because I have been seeing in your post like differentiation and like doing the exit tickets and all those strategies in the classroom. I have been learning about those strategies during our PDs like that, but then it's so difficult to apply. But then since this time, it's like I have the since I aspire to, or I have the like I wanted to be in the US, so I am
Motivation.
actually
The motivation.
motivated. I'm really practicing and like feeling like I am in the US already, so I have to do this, like these strategies that I have to apply already. So for now, I am teaching math. So what I do is really give them the exit tickets before they go, and I really do all the effort to practice all this, and also like doing the differentiation. I group my students into like I also like put them into different skills, not all high risk, or not all in smart kids. They're all like blended together so they can help one another, so that I can do some peer teaching and all these things. So this week, actually, like last week and this week, I feel like so successful in the classroom because I have been seeing my students also like motivated to learn, and also like practicing and yeah, for math, because I'm teaching math and science. So right now I'm feeling happy for the success my students have, and also I'm doing reflection on my lesson plans, and then during our observation with my with my principal and our head for in the elementary department. So far I think they're contented.
Very
I think
good.
so far they're good during my
Yeah.
observation, because there was no any other like comments. There was no anything like they want to recommend on me, like everything. I think they were satisfied with that. Yeah,
Very
because
good. Good
yeah,
job.
with that one.
Good
So
job.
I'm happy.
Everybody,
I'm
let's clap
happy.
for her. Guys, let's give her a round of applause. You just did this. You need to
Yay,
do
thank
a
you.
round of applause, okay? Very good. You need to do that in your classroom as well. Always validate. That's establishing a culture of learning when you're having students validate each other. So like this week, listen, thank you for sharing, Edini. That was awesome. It makes me feel like you're so reflective. It makes me feel like your students must be enjoying your class because they'll get to work with their classmates. So it sounds like you have a very successful week. So keep that up, because the more that you do that, the more practice that you have, the better you get at it. So by the time you come to the US, you're so good at it. Okay,
ma'am, your videos, the links that you shared in the group are so helpful, because I yeah, I read them, and yeah, they're really like they're refreshing, and it's like a calling that I really have to apply now
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. And actually that's the
Yeah.
purpose why I said that, because I kept looking, I reflected on my years of teaching. What were the things that worked for me? And so then I look for research or something, some blogs or something that would kind of apply to what I said or kind of validate it. And that's kind of how the style I've been doing is these are some words that I have, but then I want somebody else to also say that so that it's not just me saying it, it's actually somebody else is saying that too. Yes, go ahead, Sinanda, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I am also with the same idea with Ma'am Eden and Verno. When I researched on how the first 2 weeks, how did teachers in the US perform in the first 2 weeks of classes. So I researched on how to get to know my students well. Aside from being introduced themselves, I have the bingo, and that bingo has questions on inside the box, and those students will roam around to the classroom and try to ask those classmates, getting some of the details. And after that, I had the presentation of which the student will introduce their classmate in a manner based on the bingo, the answer on the bingo. And I also project myself. I also practice myself on how the teachers in the US project themselves in front of the students, like how to listen to the instruction of teachers, how important is the instruction before the activity will be performed. And I also integrate how train the students on how to submit their papers, like pass the paper to the center aisle and do not stand up, just pass the paper quietly.
Perfect.
And I also have this, you mentioned about the timer, based on the statement made by Sir Mike on the task every group, on how they perform group activity. But I also integrate timer in terms of think, pair, share, individual activity, and I project the timer on screen. And I just mentioned, I just shared to my students class, please eyes on the screen and please make use of your time because it's a time activity. And I also like the idea of asking feedbacks from my students on how I perform the activity. And it's just so heartwarming in my part knowing that they like the activity because they are more empowered. And it gives me more energy on how to prepare the lessons. And because before I am working with the indigenous people, and working with them is such a challenging part. And but by seeing them how they enjoy the lesson will somehow lighten your burden on your
It did.
preparations.
And yeah,
Eh,
it made
and
your class more fun, sounds like, yeah.
yeah.
I like
And
the knowledge of students activities that you did, the bingo, it's really powerful. And having them present, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Anytime that you do anything, you should have the students present it, because just like us, adults, when we attend a workshop and we get to do some activities and we get to present it in the front, kids feel the same way. Our students feel the same way. They love to show off what they have, the products that they have made, right? So what else, Sinando, did you want to finish up?
Yeah, and then I also project myself, in a manner that they will respect me, though I based on the reaction that I'm strict to them. But I prepared myself to be the teacher in the US. And so sometimes during break time I used to eat alone, because based on the stories from teachers in the US, they eat alone during lunch break because the time is so precious there. And so you have no more time to talk to your colleagues because the time is so limited. So when the class starts, so when there's a break, I have to practice myself to eat alone. And I also maximize the time. Maximize my time. I have more time to really prepare my lessons and make my lessons more interesting. And I use feedbacks. I see the importance of feedbacks and asking my students, "Kumusta? How did you find the activity?" Yeah, that's how I because sometimes we teachers forget to reflect on our practices. And so we more focus on ourselves, the thing, because sometimes we learn from them. We learn from them based, because they never lie. They never lie.
No, they lie. They lie, but they will tell you the truth of the feedback.
Yeah.
Everybody lies.
But when you get to know them better, they are more likely to share what their feelings. How they react.
Those are great things that you're doing.
Then when you mentioned, Doc, about mentioning names in the question, so what I did is to project first the question, then I give 1 minute paper. That 1 minute paper will empower students to think the answer of the question. Then they write their answer in a span of 1 1 minute in paper, any form of paper, and then I have this organizer, the organizer to really call students to share his or her answer. And I see that how 1 minute paper would maximize instruction, how students were able to work on task, because yeah, they have the equal chance to be included in the classroom.
Right.
So
okay, go ahead.
yeah, then I see also the power of picture analysis. Yeah, in motivating students, like those pictures are really related to the community in terms of context. And and then students are really there are plenty of reactions, observations on the pictures that you never imagined, and how you would appreciate how students would think.
Yeah.
Even though they cannot express this in terms of in English, because they have this language barrier, but the moment that you try them to express in their language, you just surprise how they think and how they create ideas about issues in the community.
That's right.
And I learned also how to really empower students to think. And those are my reflections on the past the 2 weeks pa kasi kami, because we have 2 batches, no, batch 1 and batch 2. So we had this adjustment, but yeah, really we are working on how to be a teacher like teacher in the US. So thanks, Doc, for sharing those
you're welcome.
saying those tips on how to really work on the US.
Yeah, let's give him, let's validate him. This is clap, 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 clap. That's a mosquito. Okay, clap, clap.
Yeah. I remember that. I have this angel clap. Yeah.
Clap, 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 clap.
Yeah.
Clap.
Yeah.
Mosquito clap. Okay.
Mosquito clap.
Those things like that are really good for your student. They love it. High school students love it. And I love the 1 minute paper. So please share that in our website if you don't mind, and on our website, the support site. That would be good, because you know why? It's you're giving students brain warming. You have them to brain warm before, like we have brainstorming, right? So we brain warm before we brainstorm. So to have that 1 minute paper, you're actually giving them that time to brain warm, and it's very important to do that. So I love that. Thank you. And share with us, if you don't mind, your graphic organizer. I think everybody would benefit from that. And the eating alone part, I have a mixed review on that, because sometimes lunch is the only time that we have a communication with other adults. We are here with our students all day long, and if we are gonna not have an opportunity to kind of reflect or collaborate with our peers, even with that 30 minutes that we eat together, sometimes you're losing out also, because there's a lot of learning that you get when you're sharing. But we start being negative, like some of the US lounge, teachers lounge, they're being seen as like a negative place. So some teachers are actually choosing to eat alone because they don't want to hear the negative things that other teachers are sharing about their students. So when they start sharing negative, so-and-so, negative things, I always kind of just like, oh, that's not good. That doesn't sound good. Go ahead. Yeah, time. Okay. So 10 minutes. Okay, thank you. So yeah, there are some good things about it. You were able to accomplish things, but you also need to think about, have I had time with other adults? Okay, especially if at home you also have kids to come home to. You need to have that time with adults. Okay, I know we have 10 minutes if we're gonna meet our goal. So who have I not talked to? Erica, I've talked to you. Furby, is that Furby? Furby and Albert. Those are the 2 that I have not talked to. So if you want to turn on your camera, you can talk to us if you want. And if you don't have to, if you don't want to. I never force people or folks. Okay, who's that with the lights? You have Albert. So you have a light.
Doc,
okay, there you go, Albert. Yeah.
Yes, good evening, Doc.
Good evening. You can start with wrapping up for us, like tell us some things that you've heard that you might want to apply or you have applied. I think that would be a great thing to wrap up for us.
Yes, Doc. Okay.
So what did you learn,
I'm sorry,
Albert? Did you have one thing you learned?
Yes, Doc, I was informed by Ma'am Rosanne to join our meeting.
Okay. Did you join from the beginning or did you just catch us at the end?
I just got now, Doc.
Oh, okay. Well, I will send you a video. So make sure I have your you are part of the group because, and I'm gonna put your name in here. Would you please email me? Make sure I can add you so you will always get the invitation. It's under mcculloughmerlina@gmail.com, and you can see the spelling right here on under my name, if you want.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, or you can just check in, the GC. But anyway, so what did you catch anything at the end there, Albert? Did you catch
I just
anything?
joined just now, Doc, because I am doing something. I'm finishing my reports.
Oh, no problem. No
So-
problem. Yeah. You can just watch it later if you want. Okay, anybody else that want to
Yes,
wrap
sir.
up for us? Okay, Fervy, tell us about you and then wrap up for us. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Albert.
Okay.
Oh, okay, go ahead, Fervy.
Okay, good morning, ma'am. And good
Mhm.
good evening for us here in the Philippines. So just to introduce myself, it is my first time to join this group chat and this Zoom meeting. And as like everybody else, it is one of my dreams to become a teacher in the US. Currently, I am teaching here in public school in the Philippines for almost 6 years and 2 years in the private school.
Okay.
So one thing that I've learned from listening in our Zoom meeting is that the discipline or the behavior of the American students is really different from what we have here in the Philippines. And if you can hear some of the teachers, they tell that it's hard to discipline the Filipino students. I think I need to prepare myself more if ever I will be hired or if ever I will be given a chance to work in the US, because disciplining Filipino students is really hard. So what more with the American students?
Yeah.
So I think I have to research more on that.
Good. And I want you to also do, if you feel like you need help with classroom management, I would encourage you to observe someone in your school that's strong on that, because then you can kind of get some hint of how they do that. Because if you feel like you're weak to come here and you come here, you're going to struggle. You might want to go home the first week if you feel weak on the classroom management, if you cannot control your class. Because remember, teaching is like 90% presentation,
Yes,
presentation.
I
You
believe.
have to get their attention. Yeah.
But mom, I think one of my strengths being a teacher is having a good classroom management, because on our first day, I make sure that I discipline the students. Of course, there are some, what you mentioned is high risk students. So what I did for those students that are having disruptive behavior is that I sit or I let them sit next to me, and I try to read or try to get their attention by thinking how to motivate or how to get their attention. Some students, they like phrases. Some students, they just like to look at them and
Yeah,
they will
yeah.
stop. So I think
Okay, that's good. Yeah. Mix those up. I would always do this with even when I do training. I say clap, 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 clap. And when you hear that, everybody has to do that. And then when everybody does that, then I'm ready to go. Okay, let's do that. Like, don't do it when I do it, but after I do it. Okay. Okay, go. Clap, 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 clap. Yep. Clap, 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 clap. Yeah.
Clap, clap, clap.
Yep. So if you do that, then everybody does it, then you know everybody's ready with you. Okay. And when they're in the group, for example, and you want them to like stop in order for you to give them more directions or instructions, I always say, finish your sentence, but not your paragraph. Finish your sentence, but not your paragraph. And then that way they're finishing whatever they're sharing. They're not going to start another topic. And then, okay, come back to me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, back to me. That's what I say. And then on my elementary classroom, when I was in elementary, I would say, USA, Duha. By the time you go to low, you better be seated or you're in big trouble. So they were like, oh my God, oh my God. And they were like over there making sure that why would you say Usa? Duha. So, and that's, I also, yeah, I taught them my Filipino language. You know, in the morning I would say, okay, mayong buntag, you know, mayong buntag sad, mayong buntag sad, and Miss McCullough, you know, I teach them our culture. So that it's kind of neat, especially when somebody observes you and they are speaking a different language in your language. That means you are really sharing your intercultural exchange with your students. So that I think that's very important. So good sharing there. Thank you so much. Okay, how about April Toledan? Did you get to talk to? I want everybody that has that's attending here. We want to hear from you because what did you learn? Did you learn one thing from us, April?
Yes, Doc. Good evening, everyone. Good morning, Doc. And sorry I cannot turn on the cam. I'm breastfeeding.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes, Doc. By the way, I'm April Rose Politan from Hingaog City. It's an isolated city, and it's an maybe you're unfamiliar with the city, but it's a component city of Region 10. And I've been teaching multi-grade 4 years now, more than 4 years actually. And the struggle of a multi-grade teacher is unlike teaching monograde or single classroom. It's very hard. We are struggling since the curriculum is not very friendly to us, multi-grade teachers, because I teach grade 5 and 6. So I teach them simultaneously. And I think the hardest part of this week, this week is an all-out week for me because I tried hard and I exhausted myself. That's why I have a sore throat, because I'm really trying my best to cope, that my pupils will cope to the gap, the learning gap.
That is a
Particularly
struggle.
those
That is a struggle,
pupils
guys.
have
Yeah. Why are they doing that? Why is that? Because of the lack of room? Why are they doing two different grades in one class?
It's not because of the lack of room stock. It's because of the geographical location, the student-teacher ratio, and yeah, because it's a small town and there are few students, so that's why they need to be fused in one room. 2 grades are fused in one class.
Oh, that's hard. That's hard. So I envy you that you're able to handle that, because that's a challenge.
I need
I've
to
seen it.
handle.
It's
Then I need to deliver 16 subjects because 8 subjects for 5th grade and another
Ooh,
8 subjects.
a lot.
And I need to manage them simultaneously. So next week I'm planning to have an innovation, and the innovation is entitled CR, which means character reformation, wherein I will give points to the pupils, and the pupils will the pupils can redeem the points that will be given to them. They can redeem it, or they can exchange it with items or food. Some of my pupils
They call that economic classroom here. They call that like you're running your classroom as an economy. So yeah, that's a good one, April. So hey, what I would do, I think, because I was watching a 3rd grade, 4th grade combination, and what she did was she would, like, for example, if they're doing parts of speech or whatever, so she will just like add more. She would teach the whole thing, but then she will add more to the 4th graders. So she would challenge them more. You have to do that, or else you're gonna be so stressed out if you have two totally different topics. So you take whatever the grade is and you teach them that, and then go to then do a kind of more of an enrichment for the higher grades. That's how I would handle it. Because otherwise you're just gonna be spending all your time planning, right?
Yes.
And here in the
Doc.
US, some schools are more strict about lesson plans. Some schools are not. For example, in I think in Leslie's school, they're not even asked to turn in a lesson plan. And Helena and all the other places, they have to spend time doing your lesson plan. So Leslie got lucky on that one, that they don't even have to turn in their lesson plans. So anyway, she still has to have a plan for herself, but the principal is not checking on it. And so sometimes the principal just trusts that the teacher will have it, but a lot of times, like in mine was in that way too, but we were told that you need to have one. We're not gonna don't have to submit to us, but you need to have one, because if we have a visitor, they're going to look at your plan. So you're going to have it on your desk open, so that there's a visitor, they're going to look at that and where you are. And so we, although it wasn't submitted, we still did it. You know, I always did it, you know, because I always reflect on my plan. In the end of the day, I always wrote everywhere there, for next year, this is what I need to do. This one did not work, or this one worked well, you know. So I always reflected at the end of the day. So that my plan was important to me, so I can reread it when I plan for next year. I will say, okay, this is the lesson again, but I'm going to improve it, because this is what I learned from the last time I used this strategy or topic or whatever. So yeah, so that good sharing there. Thank you so much. Okay, who else? I know we are about running out of time, so I'm just going to give whoever wants to volunteer to wrap up. See something that you use. I love to hear how you used it in the classroom, things that you learned from a Zoom, or things that you learned from the support, you know, the support, the website. I think it's very important to share things there that we can use possibly. So I'm going to call 3 more people. Hello, so who is it? You can either volunteer or be voluntold.
Hello, Doc.
Okay, who is saying that?
Giselle and Doc.
Giselle Ann, go ahead. What are you planning to use when you go back?
Honestly, Doc, this is not. I would like to ask you for the personality activity, because I'll be back by next week. So I'm gonna use it with my pupils since I haven't met them yet.
It's in the website. Them. Yeah, it's in the website. Yes, go look for it. Multiple intelligences. Yeah, okay, I even took it. Yeah, I even took it, and then I posted my result. So yeah, look for that. It will be like, you have to scroll all the way down, because that was one of the first ones that I posted. Okay.
Okay. So okay, thank you, Doc.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I think I have a need to do that, because as of now I haven't gone to work, but then there are problems arising already about the characters of some of the pupils.
Oh no.
And yeah, and my coworker told me that you have to address that when you go back to work.
Yes.
Because the substitute teacher was
yeah, they're not gonna
afraid of what the pupil did. So I guess I have to do that. So
yeah, what grade are you gonna have? What grade will you have, girly?
Grade 6, Doc.
Grade 6. Okay, yeah, they're gonna want to test that substitute. So you're gonna have to straighten them out as if it's their first day again. So get them used to it. If you Google multiple intelligences, so you put it in quotation mark, that way you'll see both. So put in quotation mark multiple intelligences test, or MI test. I think you'll be able to get it too. And so anyway, all right, good question, and good luck on your first day again. Anybody else? 2 more people. So we are not meeting our goal, of course. We're still 6 more minutes from it. we're improving by 30 minutes instead of 11. We're doing like 10:30. Yay. Okay, 2 more. Voluntold. Okay, Dr. Elvin looks like he knows. You can either call somebody or tell me. Dr. Elvin, you either tell me or you call someone.
Okay. Edin Anober, she's
yes, I have a question for Dr. Merlina.
Yes.
Doc, I want to know how many students are in the classroom usually there in the US?
Good question. There is in Arkansas, there is a limit of 30 for the higher grades, like 4th, 5th, 6th, I think, and then the others, and then the the younger grades, they have a smaller limit. And then for the high school, there is a limit of 150 students that one teacher can do. So that might be a combination of whatever number, but there's only 150. You cannot go over 150. So if you have 5 periods, you can have 30 times 5. Or you have 6 periods, you have to have less than 30. And so that's why we have to, we actually have to add them up. As administrators, make sure we didn't go over, because when we get audited by the Department of Education, we need to make sure that no teacher is above the 150. Okay, and the elementary, I know that not very many, like what I taught were only 16 students. They're only like Leslie. How many do you usually have, Leslie? Is Leslie still up? Anyway, so a bunch of them. Yeah, how many do you have usually, Leslie, in your class?
I have the maximum I have is 26.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have like the minimum. I have 8.
Okay. See, they differ. And so, but Abby, I think is like Abby got a cushy job. Abby, what were the numbers that she has?
You want to talk to her? She want to talk to you?
Abby, I want you to share how cushy your job is. She died and went to heaven.
Thanks, ma'am. Oh, I actually have at most 4 students in a period. I actually have 9 of them in all. Like first period, I have 1. I'm in a second period, I have only 1.
Special ed,
Yeah, special ed. Fourth period, 4. Sixth period, I have 4, and the 7th, I have 3. So I only have 4 periods to handle, and each period has a maximum of 4. And it's a special ed, but you have to expect that every kid is already a handful.
Right. Yeah, but you do a good job of handling them, sounds like. So special ed here, there's a limit of how many, and I think if you have over 10, you have to have an aid there. You have
At
to have
most 8.
8. Yeah. If you have a certain number, and it's 8 is the number, and then after that, if you put more students there, you have to have some aid or somebody to help, or else they would be in violation of the law.
Yes,
So.
I actually have a paraprofessional in my class, but she hasn't gotten into my room yet because she has to take a test. I guess she has taken it yesterday, and if she passes the test, she'll be with me.
Oh my gosh, golly, you really died and went to heaven for sure. Anyway, paraprofessional here is the teaching aid. They are the teaching aid, and here they have to pass a test in order to become one. So they have to have at least some college hours and so on. They didn't graduate, but they will be able to help the teacher. They're gonna be paid about half the teacher usually, and so if not less than half. But it's golly, you're so lucky to have a full-time aid. I had one 4 years that I had a full-time aid. I was teaching like Title I, they call it, which is like the students that did not qualify for special ed. And oh my God, it is so good to have an aid, to have a paraprofessional there with you, because like I had, for example, if I had 8 students, I would have 4, or I would have 6, and she would have 2, depending on the need. And so the only thing is I actually planned for her. Like I actually planned for an activity that she will do. I did not just use my paraprofessional as like somebody to copy papers. She was actually an instructional aid for me. And that's I think that's the best way to use them, is to actually make them feel empowered that they can, so which means that you have to kind of talk to them on how to do it. This is how I'm gonna do it. These are the steps, or share with them your, PowerPoint or whatever, because that empowers them. That makes them feel more valued. I have seen a lot of paraprofessionals just sitting in the back, and just waiting for the teacher to like take this to the office. And oh my gosh, to me, that's such a waste of the school's money. So you need to make sure that if you have a paraprofessional, make them feel like they're part of the classroom. Yes. You might just have them to work with a student that you're having problems with, or something with the most struggle that you cannot teach without this this kid interrupting you. So yeah, use them where they are actually involved with students, not just copying paper. So that's a good point there. Oh my gosh, Abby, I'm so jealous.
2 weeks ago, she was with me for the whole week, and I was discussing, and she was there sitting, and she was writing something. And then I was asking my students, do you have a question? Do you get what I was talking about? And she said, my parapro said, Miss Abby, I have a question. And I said, yes, ma'am. She was listening to me, and she was taking down notes of the discussion I have for my students.
She was learning from you too. Oh,
you're a very, I haven't learned this before, but the way you make it easier for me to understand. And oh, thank you so much, ma'am. I'm so glad you like that. And I want to learn more from you.
That's a good sign. That's a good sign. You have a growth mindset person there in your room. That's a very good sign. So yeah, I would want to work with that person. I can't wait to meet her when I go see you. I go see you once a month, hopefully. Yeah.
Hopefully.
They're so funny. Leslie was like saying, I'm more nervous about your visit than with my superintendent. I'm like, you're so silly. You know me better. Right? You don't feel the same way, do you? You don't feel the same way, do you?
I guess I feel the same way.
Oh my gosh, you are so funny.
But I would love if you'd be in our school. I would love it if
Yeah, because I will give you your strengths and your, the things that you have to work, your challenges, and I suggest to you exactly how to fix it.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
yeah, I got a compliment the other day. It was nice. It was humbling. The superintendent at Maria, she said, Merlina, I really appreciate that when you give them the comments, that you actually tell them the suggestion on how to improve it, because I have seen improvements of these international teachers based on what you said to them. And when I watched them again, they were using what you said, because I share with them, my comments. And so you can see the growth. And, I said, this is going to be one of our best teachers in the state because of the things that you help them, because I'm there every week. Their school hired me to come every week. And so it's kind of nice to hear that you always want to hear impact. Did I really make a difference? Even one little thing, that's kind of what you want to hear as a teacher, So anyway, last one, the very last one is the the most important thing that someone can wrap this up. And we are doing better. Thank you. Anybody? Last one, wrap up. So this is what I learned in my life. It doesn't have to be here. one saying that you might have remembered, or one saying you want to share, anything. I'm really pulling here. I'm like fishing and I'm trying to get that fish. I love the fish. So anyway, I need to go there today. So yeah, some of you guys who are coming here, I'm gonna take you fishing. Okay, I know Abby and Leslie have not gone, but I'll have to take you fishing the next time you come. And I'm gonna have to invite Abby's husband to come too, so can meet my husband.
I have a license to fish now.
Oh yeah, oh, I forgot. They have a license to fish because they needed another ID. And you know how in the Philippines we can get sidula? Here they can get a fishing license and it's good for a year. How much was it? $15?
$10.
$10. But that's an extra license that for example, if you go to bank and they need 2 pieces of license,
But the funny thing, ma'am, is instead of me being Asian, because they're gonna put their race. So instead of being Asian, they assume, they put it in there that I am Hispanic, Hispanic/Latin.
Yeah, you're Latinx because you look like a Puerto Rican or you have that beauty of a Latin, like a Latino girl.
Yeah.
Because of Spanish, your Spanish heritage. You're gonna go back to that, and I guess I hate that whenever they're just guess. They're like they think they speak Spanish to me, and I'm like, and no hablo español, poquito señor. I would just say, I speak very little, but I understand it. One day I was like, huh?
My students would not believe that I am an Asian.
Yeah, they think that you're what?
No, you're not. And I said, I am an Asian, and they said, no, you're not.
Yeah, I agree with you. But then you have to remember they don't know their geography either. So you have to pull that map down. Yeah.
If you really are from Asia, you should have the eyes like this. And I told them, no, that's not good to tell somebody. And they were like, oh, Mrs. Cabanas, we are not being racist.
Yeah, because they said I like this and they did that. That's racist. And so you need to tell them that people from Asia are Asians and these are the countries in Asia, because that is a common misconception here. When they hear Asian, they think Chinese, okay, or Japanese. That's all they think about, not think of us, okay? Yes. So when they have Asian haters, and they were really talking about Chinese and Japanese, but then Filipinos become in there. Some Filipinos got hurt when those Asian haters, in New York or whatever, and they were just hurting somebody just because they're Filipinos or they're Asians. And so anyway, so sometimes you worry about that. My daughter was like, Mom, are you gonna move here in Hawaii? Because I'm so worried about you in Salem. And I go, Stephanie, everybody knows me in Salem. Like, yeah, but mom, there's some Asian hating going on. I'm like, Stephanie, I'm going to be okay. So she's worried about me. All right. So I want to say good night. And I thank you so much for attending. I always learn from you. And so I hope you learn a little bit of something. And then we'll see you next week. Goodbye. Thank you again, Alvin and Mike, for your help. Okay.
Good night.
Thank you so much.
Night, everyone.
Bye.
God bless.
Bye. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.